when my hearing was going to be, you know what I mean? But he made a point to say, there is no order, so just carry on. So, um, yeah, it's just a nuisance. It's just a nuisance, and I do think that it's still going to be to go the way we thought. It's just going to take a little longer. So it could be in a few weeks, but it actually gives me more time to because I was writing a lot of questions down that I was thinking of um, that I was going to ask her. Um, so it gives me more time, and plus anything she says between now and then about the hearing and about me and about like anything she does to disparage people can be used against her at the next court hearing. So I don't know if you're still getting gas, Mare. I'm going to go through the Dunkin' Donuts drive-through, so I'm going to mute for a minute.
Yeah, no, I just finished. I'm just like about to get on the highway, so I think I know where I'm going anyways. So yeah, so basically how it went was we went in there. She spoke for about 20 minutes. None of it was like a surprise. It was pretty much all from her petition. I had several objections to things that she added in that happened after because she didn't file an amended petition, which is required under the statute. And I cited and he agreed. Most of my objections were sustained. She also started trying to talk about things Jen did. Well, it was like clear I was just in the room, so I like objected and I said, Your Honor, she's talking about things that she's alleging Ms. Altman did, and I'm not saying I'm not, just to be clear, I don't think Ms. Altman did these things, but we're two separate entities. I don't control Ms. Altman. She doesn't control me. If anything, we're joined. We're common victims of Miss. Hold on.
Okay, I don't know what happened to Meredith. So we also, one of my questions to Marie, and I'll give it away. I don't care. She says she's disabled because she has, and she said it multiple times. So I am not like telling her medical thing to anybody, but that she has something called Chabon something syndrome, and it causes like dryness in your eyes, like it's a mucus problem, a moisture problem. Um, oh, Meredith dropped off. Um, but she can still dance, drink, hike, drive, like do all these things. So I'm not sure where a disability comes into this. I just think that she's using the court for that. I have a lot of questions. I mean, I'm bummed. I'm bummed that I didn't get to go in front of the court. I really am. But I'll get my time, and I feel like Meredith's will be. I'm just seeing if she logs back in. I think that if Meredith is denied, we'll see what happens after that. I'm very happy to go in front of the judge and state my case on why I feel this order is being abused. There is no order. So I thought it was really interesting that the judge made sure to say that there's no order in place right now. And if he felt like there was like anything to worry about, I feel like he would have issued an order. Hold on, let me see if Meredith texted me. Oh, she just has a she had just had a call from work, so she's gonna have to. So I think we're gonna have to do a another space after when she's ready. So she'll text me when she's ready, and then we'll jump on another space. But I at least wanted you guys to know because everybody was texting me, so I thought it was better just to jump on a space and say. So stay tuned for mine, Meredith. Hopefully they'll have an answer on hers tomorrow. She'll keep calling till she gets that, but she feels pretty confident. She's a badass bitch. The judge asked her if she was a lawyer, so she just had all her ducks in a row, and just she's amazing. So that's where we are now, kids. And then stay tuned for mine. But as soon as Meredith gets off her work call, she'll text me, and we will jump back on a space. Okay, guys. Talk to you later. Bye. Hi, everybody. I invited Meredith as a co-host. So I'm just waiting for her to accept it. What a day. What a day. I'm just going to get my directions home. Where's Meredith? There she goes. Hi, Mare.
Hey, I don't know if you saw my text. I'm just getting gas.
Okay.
And then I'm going to be muted for like the next few minutes. Just I want to get in and get on the highway, know where I'm going, and then I'll talk. So yeah, carry on for a few.
Okay, so we got there, and there were we had 6 people with us. Shout out to Holly McNamara, Rita. Who else was there? Lizark, Jason, and then there was another woman there who was asking to stay anonymous. So we're going to keep her anonymous. So Meredith went in. She was the first one called, and so they told me I couldn't. They told us like it was going to be closed when Meredith was in there, and made it seem like nobody could go in. So nobody went in, because they said I couldn't go in because I was like a co-defendant or something like that, which I understand. So just figuring out, where's this cute little town? So Meredith was like an hour she was in there, not the 7.5 minutes that Marie said it was going to be. She gets 15 minutes and we only get 7.5. Yeah, no, that's not the way it works. And she was convinced that that's what's going to happen. So Meredith goes in, and she was in there for an hour. And then they unfortunately had to call a couple other parties in between, a couple other hearings. So by the time that I was called, it was 3:45. And the judge said, we have to reschedule because the court closes promptly at 4 and we don't have time for this. And so that was fine. So I had to file a motion to ask if I could do the next time telephonically or by Zoom, because I have to take a half day off work. I have to drive up here. This is not my fault that it was rescheduled. So I filed that motion. I think it'll be fine. I'll let Meredith talk about her experience in the courtroom, because obviously I wasn't in there. But then, so we walk in at the end with all our people, and Maria's there with her, victim advocate, and she says, "What are they all doing in here? I thought we discussed this." She said that to the judge. "I thought we discussed this," and the judge said, "No, we didn't." And then he goes through the whole thing that we're going to have to, postpone it. And he asked for the names to identify yourself. And she's like, "Marie Carvalho." Like, she was pissed. She was really mad. There was nobody there with Marie. Nobody. Nobody showed up. Panda Bear wasn't there. Cassie wasn't there. All these people that support Marie and get them with a restraining or a stalking order, these women are just bullies. Nobody was there to defend her or support her. And so she was very upset. So then the judge explained to her after, like, this is an open courtroom. You can't, just because you don't want people in here. The only reason we didn't allow Ms. Altman in here is because she's like a co-defendant, but she can bring as many people as she wants. So you should expect that when you come back. So we'll see what happens. I'll just say what I feel, and then I'll have Meredith talk. I definitely feel like he's not going to. I wasn't in there with Meredith, but just the way. So he made sure to tell me, like, there's no order in place. Like, there's no order on you. And I feel like if he felt by Meredith's hearing that there was like a chance of stalking or all that, then he would have at least issued an order between now and when my hearing was going to be, you know what I mean? But he made a point to say, there is no order, so just carry on. So, yeah, it's just a nuisance. It's just a nuisance, and I do think that it's still going to go the way we thought. It's just going to be take a little longer. So it could be in a few weeks, but it actually gives me more time to because I was writing a lot of questions down that I was thinking of that I was going to ask her. So it gives me more time, and plus anything she says between now and then about the hearing and about me and about like anything she does to disparage people can be used against her at the next court hearing. So I don't know if you're still getting gas, Mayor. I'm going to go through the Dunkin' Donuts drive-through, so I'm going to mute for a minute.
Yeah, no, I just finished. I'm just like about to get on the highway, so I think I know where I'm going anyways. So basically how it went was we went in there. She spoke for 20 minutes. None of it was like a surprise. It was pretty much all from her petition. I had several objections to things that she added in that happened after because she didn't file an amended petition, which is required under the statute. And I cited and he agreed. Most of my objections were sustained. She also started trying to talk about things Jen did. Well, it was like clear I was just in the room, so I like objected and I said, Your Honor, she's talking about things that she's alleging Ms. Altman did, and I'm not saying I'm not, just to be clear, I don't think Ms. Altman did these things, but we're two separate entities. I don't control Ms. Altman. She doesn't control me. If anything, we're joined. We're common victims of Miss. Hold on.
Okay, I don't know what happened to Meredith. Um, we also, one of my questions to Marie, and I'll give it away. I don't care. She says she's disabled because she has, and she said it multiple times. So I am not like telling her medical thing to anybody, but that she has something called Chabon something syndrome, and it causes like dryness in your eyes. Like it's a mucus problem, a moisture problem. Oh, Meredith dropped off. But she can still dance, drink, hike, drive, do all these things. So I'm not sure where a disability comes into this. I just think that she's using the court for that. I have a lot of questions. I mean, I'm bummed. I'm bummed that I didn't get to go in front of the court. I really am. But I'll get my time, and I feel like Meredith's will be. I'm just seeing if she logged back in. I think that if Meredith is denied, we'll see what happens after that. I'm very happy to go in front of the judge and state my case on why I feel this order is being abused. There is no order. So I thought it was really interesting that the judge made sure to say that there's no order in place right now. And if he felt like there was anything to worry about, I feel like he would have issued an order. Hold on, let me see if Meredith texted me. She just has she just had a call from work. So she's going to have to, so I think we're going to have to do another space after when she's ready. So she'll text me when she's ready, and then we'll jump on another space. But I at least wanted you guys to know, because everybody was texting me. So I thought it was better just to jump on a space and say, so stay tuned for mine. Meredith, hopefully they'll have an answer on hers tomorrow. She'll keep calling till she gets that, but she feels pretty confident. She's a badass bitch. The judge asked her if she was a lawyer. So she just had all her ducks in a row, and just, she's amazing. So that's where we are now, kids. And then, stay tuned for mine. But as soon as Meredith gets off her work call, she'll text me, and we will jump back on a space. Okay, guys, talk to you later. Bye.
Would have it in front of me, but I don't know. I got through enough that I felt good about it, where I was with all the cross stuff, that I was like, I've already exposed she's not in fear, and then now I could just do a quick closing, talk about how I've never met her, I've never stalked her, I've never done anything under the statute. The judge clearly understood what the statute was, how it was. Yet this was his first rodeo, so I wasn't going to lecture him on that, but I would have liked to do a closing just to kind of hammer in how I've never met this woman. This is my first time I'm meeting her, because she initiated it because of this court proceeding and everything. And yeah, I think he got it, but it just went on so long. And I just have a feeling if he cut me off and said he said I've heard enough, and I didn't need to do a closing statement, then I'm guessing the decision is in my favor, right?
I think that, the fact, because he knows that if you did get the order, you can appeal it and say, well, I didn't get the opportunity to fully defend myself because he cut me off and said he heard enough. Also, one of the questions I want to ask Marie when I get my chances, why does she feel that you and I are responsible for her mental health? And I have that video of her after the order, literally going to both our X pages, acknowledging that she's blocked, acknowledging it, and saying, I think she used the words, oh, we can still see her stuff though. So we are obviously trying to get away from you, and you are coming towards us. So who's responsible for your mental health, Marie? You are. You are responsible for your mental health, not me. If my mental health was suffering and I was pale and tired and not feeling well and doing all that because of online behavior, I would get off line.
Yeah, I was able to
Invited
present.
Jason to
Yeah.
speak too. And I want to give a quick shout out to, I forgot to mention the star of the show who came down to support us is Steve. Steve from New Hampshire, Nan's daddy. He came to see us. It was wonderful to meet him. I called him daddy when he left. He liked that. He's a very handsome, very smart, very sweet, just nice man, and we appreciate him being there.
I know. Thank you. I know I was muted when Jen thanked everybody who came. Thank you, everybody who came. It was nice. And like we didn't even ask people to come. Like I know she did. She made like a call, but I didn't like. We didn't ask anybody. Like you and I were planning on just being there. And I did ask Jason to come because I thought I would want like a paralegal to play videos and stuff. But then it was like, oh, Jess Meredith is going in, so I just did it. But I'm requesting the FDR audio as soon as I get home. I'm like excited to play it because.
And there was another woman there who has asked that we keep her name, but she came solely, like we didn't even know who she was, and then we found out at the end that she had come specifically for us. And so when you're listening and you know who you are, thank you very much.
Yeah, no, it was nice that the people who came did, because we didn't ask them for anything, because like nor would we wouldn't ask people to show up and like turn this into a spectacle like other people in this arena do.
Yep. I invited Jason to speak, so he's here too. He was there.
Hello, everybody.
Hi, Jason.
How's it going? I feel like I haven't seen you guys in forever, but it was like 10
I know, it's been like 10 minutes.
Jason, did you hear I got pulled over? I got pulled over after I left.
I know everything as it happens, but I was trying to keep it quiet because I wasn't sure if you were telling anybody.
I know, I wasn't going to at first, but I didn't get a ticket, so I was like, I didn't get a ticket, so I was like, yeah, like I'll just say it, because like I probably would have been salty about it if I did.
But before that stupid retard finder, Karen Reed retard finder accounts, like, oh, Jen said she was on a work call, but she was really getting pulled over. That's indication that she doesn't have a job. Meredith has a job, so everybody can stop saying that.
It's just like my last job where we have like busy weeks where like I work like 60 hours some week because we have so much shit to do, and then some where there's just not a lot, so like I have time to take a break in the middle of the day and hop on a space or whatever. Today I took off, unfortunately, because of this bullshit. I wasn't gonna just like not be like available. Like, who knows? Glad I did. We were here all fucking afternoon dealing with this.
Yeah, glad I took the whole afternoon off.
It was a nice little visit to Nashua, New Hampshire. There was.
Are you being like? I think I've been here before. I don't remember. I would never like pick to. I don't know. It wasn't very nice when I was like getting off the highway. Anyways, the little bit I saw between the highway and the courthouse.
Yeah, it seems like one of those towns. Like it. I didn't spend a lot of time before getting back on the highway myself. I'll put it that way. Yeah,
no, he pulled me over. I guess I was speeding a little bit. Andy saw I had my phone out because I was trying to figure out where I was going with my map, and he's like, "It's a hand-free state." And he was like, "You could," and then he was like making small talk with me about like where I was coming, and then I realized he was like flirting with me because he was like, "Oh, so like where are you coming from?" The courthouse. Like, "Oh, what were you there for today?" Like, I don't know if he was trying to be like at first like, "What were you there for?" And I was like, "Oh, just like a civil matter." And he was like, "Oh, nice, like it's a nice courthouse." He was like, "Yeah, but it's like hands-free here, and you're going 48, like a 30." He was like, I wouldn't have thought this was a 30. He could have easily given me a ticket. I'm surprised. I thought I was going to because, like, I mean, they hate Massachusetts, but he's like a young guy. You could tell he was like kind of flirting me, and then I was like, all right, I'm not getting a ticket, so I'll go back on the space. I was like not going to if I was like in a salty mood about getting a ticket. He was saying he was like, I could give you a ticket, and it's going to be like $400 and points on your license, but I'm not going to. I'm going to give you a warning.
Never mind, live free or die. $400. That's outrageous. I was actually going to come and try and find your traffic stop in case I needed to bail you out. But if I came, you probably would have got arrested. So I'm glad that you got away.
Yeah, I think they're almost in Mass. I don't know. Yeah, Bill Ricca. Is that? Yeah. Wait, Bill Ricca, isn't that the lacrosse place? I don't think I didn't know that was is that north of Boston? I don't know. Some towns in Massachusetts, I have no idea like where they are. Like you could tell me Bill Ricca is like next to. I just know it's not in the South Shore because I know the South Shore well. I don't really know the North Shore at all, and I don't know central Mass towns well at all.
Yeah, Billerica is off Route 3. Hold on 1 second. I gotta answer a work call.
So yeah, so I can only imagine. So she had like a victim advocate sitting next to her in there, and he was like following her around and bringing her in and out of the courthouse. And after I went, they went and sat in a room together for 2 hours while we waited for Jen's hearing that never happened. And I mean, she heard all those clips I played where Marie's calling people like nasty bitches, whores. Like I can only imagine how awkward for that poor victim advocate it was in that room after.
I know, because the first thing she heard was just Marie telling her all these war stories about how horrible it is for her. And what did they discuss? Like proper ball sucking technique when they went back? Like that's so bad.
Yeah, she just kept saying over and over again, harassment. In my head, I'm like, this is not like harassment under like a criminal harassment law or like what's needed for the statute. And that's what I was going to hammer in my closing, but I didn't get to do one. But like again, right? I don't think if he was going to issue an order against me, he would have cut me off like that, right? Like, I don't know.
No, I don't think so. It sounds to me, I mean, obviously everyone's just reading tea leaves when it comes to these things, but it sounds to me, based on your recollection of what happened in there, that when he said "I've heard enough," that is because he
And
heard
right
enough.
before I asked to do my closing too, and he said I heard enough. He'd asked her like 3 times, like, "Is there anything else you want to play?" He's like, "So," and then the last thing she was, "This is just more of her disparaging you, like you've disparaged her online." Like he literally said that, like you've disparaged her, like back and forth. So I mean, and then
Right.
he was like, "Anything else you have that's not like of her disparaging you?" And she was like, "No, that's it." And then that's when he was like, didn't want me to said he heard enough for me not to do the closing. So I can't imagine like he's asking her over and over again if she had anything else, and then he doesn't let me do my closing.
Right, like if he heard enough because he made the decision that he's going to issue the order, then he wouldn't have asked her for anything else either. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he didn't hear enough from her side; he heard enough from your side.
Yeah. I'm so mad. My closing was so good. Maybe I know I've been like needing to go on like Mike's show. Maybe I'll read it on there. I don't know. I think we should do a whole mock. Once this is actually settled, I think we should do a whole mock like trial, like
mock court.
All of the questions.
Love that.
We should do it with like some of the characters from the older restraining order too. I like was cleaning out my binder from April, and I found all these questions I wanted to ask Purple Kool-Aid and like Ray from Dallas and stuff. Like we should do a reenactment of that.
I can finally testify.
Yes, you. Oh yeah, you wanted. I know your thing. You had prepared like a 5-page thing of questioning for Tom to ask you for that.
And I wrote down 5 more pages while I was sitting in the courtroom.
Oh, you did? Yeah. So we should definitely do a mock trial.
I portfolio today, and God. Should we have Christy be? That would be the best thing ever.
That'd be funny. We need somebody to play Sparkly.
We should do a casting call, I think. I think this is a great idea.
I know. We need a judge, casting call. Or
can we should make people audition though and record those too, just for fun.
I know. So yeah, I mean, I just like, am I surprised? No, like this is how I expected. I mean, I expected it to be quicker and like a decision today. But you said you were talking to other people in the hall who were going in and out for restraining orders. You like make friends with everyone, by the way, everywhere.
I know,
like,
I do.
Did you like exchange numbers with those girls by the end of it? Like I
absolutely, that would have been inappropriate. I did not.
Okay.
We just created Snapchats. No, I'm just kidding. That didn't happen either. No, I actually was really interested in their case because it was a case. Well, I think let's get to your point first. They also did not get their decision.
Yeah, they also didn't get a decision. The judge didn't. So it seems like the judge just doesn't issue this. I had a feeling that he was definitely going to wait until after Jen's was done to do it because, like, I don't know, he probably just didn't want to like crush her spirits when she had to go and then like talk about Jen's too. But I could see though him wanting to get this decision out soon so that she won't even want to end up dealing with another one. Who knows? But.
So I figured out something about this judge, which was great. So as you know, and everyone else doesn't know, like there was a confusion about who was excluded from the courtroom for the first hearing. And I got there about 5 minutes late. So I missed all of it and just like a moron sat out in the hallway with everyone else. I just took it. The courtroom was closed. And
Well,
But
I
I did
almost
the
said
clerk, and
something.
they
I
talked
almost
to the
said
back
something
and
like, I almost got up and said something when the judge came in because because it was just the security officer telling me like, no, it's closed. But then I was looking at it above my laptop and it's like, no. Like the burden to get a closed courtroom in New Hampshire is very high. Like she hasn't filed any motion to seal shit. Like there's no motion. It's just a child. This isn't like a rape case or anything like that. Like there's no reason for this to be closed to the public. I almost got up and argued that, but I was like, I don't want to start off and like be like a know-it-all and like be like have him be annoyed.
And then she was like, I thought we discussed this. To
yeah.
the judge.
Oh,
I
yeah.
thought
When we all came in
discussed
for
it."
That was
yours. Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
But if I really wanted to be a pain in the ass, I could have argued for it to be public because it's public and like these judges don't want to get dinged for this shit. Like the Constitution of New Hampshire, there's the thing, like it's a huge burden. They have to do like a balancing test that it should be like closed and she should have filed a motion.
Well,
Otherwise everything's presumed public. Like that was
Yeah, not
bullshit,
only
but
that,
I wasn't
but,
gonna
like-
start it off.
Yeah, I agree. And my point was that the judge actually made findings, which I found out from the bailiff after, where he listed to me why he closed the court, because they're required to actually make findings from the bench and put them on the record when they close the courtroom, because that's how serious the transparency is there.
Oh.
And
He
the
didn't say
judge
that for
said-
mine, but he didn't say why he was doing that in mine. That wasn't on the
Right,
record in mine.
he didn't tell you that, but I think because I inquired with the clerk and the bailiff, that I think that's why he announced the difference. I
It,
think
like,
that's why he announced it in open court.
Yeah, it made it like clear that we were not fucking around. Like we know how like court works. We're not like
And maybe
Right.
maybe he didn't realize that there were like maybe he thought it was just me, and that I
That's
just
what
had to say
I
out,
think
which
it was
I
a
understood.
miscommunication with the bailiff. I think
Yeah,
he just thought
I
it
do
was
too.
Jen. Yeah. But
Yeah,
my
I do
my
too.
overall point is the judge, I do take him at his word. He said he worked through lunch. They didn't take a break today. They had several long hearings.
Yeah.
So my guess is that he didn't want to take the time to write, because he's going to write these decisions. He didn't want to take the time to do that.
Right.
We went right up to the wire, obviously, until the court closed. They were kicking people out. Like,
what kind,
I
like
do think that we'll get an answer quickly.
they don't need to do like a long decision. It should just be denied. Like there's no like she did not meet the standard whatsoever. Like to
Right.
show that she
It's
was
denied.
whatever it is to put a reasonable person in fear for their safety and that they were in fear for safety. I mean her acts alone after this hearing that she's not in fear. Like she just didn't like an article put up. And we did talk about the DUI thing and he was like I was
Oh,
like,
yeah.
before I started questioning about this, I was like, my point is, he was like, no need to bring up the DUI thing. I was like, you're right. My honor, your point is, like, your honor, my point is that basically this was a public records request, a lawful public records request. And I had already shown the tweet of her posting mine the next day. I was like, so you went and posted
Right.
the very same thing you put in a petition because you were in fear of me. You did the same thing to me the very next day. Okay. So like that point was made.
My point was, I think he was just budgeting his time, and I don't think he wanted to take any extra time. I don't expect it to be a 6-page decision, right? I just think that he was trying to see if he could squeeze everybody in today, and he ultimately wasn't able to. So I think he seemed to me that he was just trying to practice time management in the courtroom. So I'm guessing
Yeah,
you'll hear as
it's
soon as
fine.
tomorrow.
Yeah, and I hope that they approve my motion to come by Zoom. They said they have to hold it for 10 days. And
so she
send
can
it,
appeal it. What the
to
fuck? Like,
yeah, so Marie can if Marie doesn't feel like I be able to appear by Zoom, and then it'll go to the judge.
she's not going to appeal it. She'd probably rather that you don't come in person.
Right.
Right. I guess
Oh,
we'll
I'm
see
gonna
what
have a
happens
bigger
after your
binder.
decision comes out. You know.
Another thing
Yeah,
she said, I'm trying to remember about all the things she said. She said how, like, she brought up Turtle Boy, of course, which I didn't even say a word about it, 'cause this has nothing to do with it. She said that she thought because I, like, went, or she had him on her show, that's why I got mad at her. But it's like, no, you were talking crap about me for weeks before that even happened. Like,
And your job.
I don't give a shit that who you have on your show. I don't care what your show. I'm just responding to yes, and she'd already threatened to fire my
Talk
job.
about your job.
Yeah, like that's
Because
what
I
I
remember
was like,
texting her and being like, don't sit here and pretend you know why Meredith lost her job and what she should and shouldn't do. It's none of your fucking business. Like, leave her alone. And that's what she thought. She thinks. And I found a recording. I don't know if I had put it in our Google Drive, Meredith, but she literally says something about online. There needs to be honesty and truth and moral. Okay,
Robot Jen.
I'm gonna mute.
It's not. Hey Jen, it sounded like you were using auto tune there for a minute. I thought it was pretty cool. So yeah, I think all in all, like I think today went exactly how you'd expect it to go, and I think that I can't imagine that any order is going to issue from what happened there today. I mean, she even in the petition, like her allegations, they just don't stand up to the requirements of the statute, and they shouldn't. Like the bottom line is you know, it's not just that she's a hypocrite. It's not just that she does all of the stuff that she's claiming is done against her, and she usually does it first and worse. It's that's not what the statute's designed for. It's not designed to prevent people from talking about each other. It's designed to actually help people who are in reasonable fear and like stop abusing the court system. It's horrible.
And she can't get there and be like, my daughter-in-law is in fear. Well, you can't say that. She's not here. Like, that's hearsay. Objection, Your Honor.
Right. And why wasn't she there, right? She had the opportunity to
Right.
bring witnesses. So why didn't she bring her daughter-in-law? We
Right.
should just take her word for it.
And then we went over, like, I kept thinking about that comment I made about her daughter. And what the exact comment was, fuck off with your disabled daughter and her wish list. I did not tell her disabled daughter to fuck off. I did not say fuck your disabled daughter. But even if I did, I'm allowed to say that. I'm allowed to. But that's why she doesn't think I should be in healthcare. Whatever. That's not your responsibility.
Oh, Meredith dropped. But Meredith actually made a point earlier, too, that I wanted to bring up because she was talking about, I was talking to those other people who were in the other case that was right before yours. And I'm actually glad they got in because that case, the witness actually flew from North Carolina to come help her
Okay.
friends. And so, like, this was a domestic relations case in North Carolina, and a woman from Nashua or from the area, as a result of the breakup, ended up by moving back home and was being harassed. And her friend flew all the way from North Carolina to testify for her. And so even they didn't get their answer today. But that case, as I was talking to the friend, that there was all kinds of actual crazy, scary allegations of things that were happening in that case that warrant a protective order. Like not someone criticized me because I make videos about sucking balls on the internet. Like, go home, lady.
Right. And isn't that video still up?
It
Jessica
is.
Machado still has that video up on her page. So if it's harming your mental health and it's so bad that you don't want your daughter-in-law to see it, why is it still up? Why didn't you ask Jessica to take it down?
She
Right.
definitely wouldn't now that she's like the way she's treated Jessica lately, but
Well, and she needs all the views she can get, right? So
Right. I'm just curious what she'll say tonight on her show. I mean, it's Wind Down Wednesday.
she said that she because of us and our harassment and mental health, she stopped doing shows every night and she only does them Monday, Wednesday, Fridays because of that. Oh, and she said she dropped out of nursing school because of the harassment because of our harassment and anxiety.
So
Wait.
then maybe log the fuck off, old lady. Log the fuck off.
Oh, you're talking about Marie again. I thought you were talking
She
about
said
Jess for a minute.
we should like act like, didn't she say a while ago she stopped doing it for another reason? We should have that before
I'm
you're
gonna
hearing
search.
again.
Yeah, I'm gonna search.
She definitely said another reason why she stopped going to school. It was before anything happened with us.
Yeah, that's
But that's her decision. Nobody's come to her house. Nobody's threatened to. Nobody's contacting her school. Like, nobody's doing anything. If your mental health is so bad that you have to drop out of college or, school, and you have to, then maybe you think about your mental health and not being online. Like, how does she not see this? How does she not see this? And thinks that a judge will be like, well, you're right. Okay.
I thought
How
she was
can she think that?
I thought she was already a nurse. Does she try to become
She is. She's going for her master's, her MSN.
But she's not working, right? She doesn't work because of her
She's
disability?
not even licensed anymore.
Oh, my
She's not even
goodness.
licensed anymore. She doesn't even have her license anymore. So no, I think she said she wanted to teach or something. God forbid.
Oh, my God. Well,
Yeah,
actually,
but
it'll be very entertaining for young, nurses. People in nursing school are generally either just in college age or just beyond. They'll probably be very
Yeah.
entertained to hear their professor talk about sucking balls. So it's fine.
Yeah, no. If Bonnie or anybody else who's listening, I know from either on a space or like one of her earlier shows, she said something about why she stopped like pursuing the masters, and it had nothing to do with us. Like that's just bullshit.
and does she actually think like, all right, let's compare this to Colin Albert, who had to drop out of school because he had thousands and thousands of middle-aged losers calling his school and doing like, is she comparing herself? They're writing bad words on the internet and I'm going and I'm reading them and they make me sad, so I can't go to school. Does she realize how stupid? Does she actually believe that people accept that's okay? It's not okay.
Yeah, she didn't even try to bring in any shit said by burner accounts or by whoever Mara Leary is, because she was like, I don't have any evidence. But I asked her, I was like, your petition, because the judge might go back and look at her petition. I was like, in your petition, you called me all of these accounts, correct? Do you have any evidence with you in court today that I am these accounts? She's like, no. So I got her to admit that at least.
Yeah, so she won't bring that up with me. Well, it's just amazing. I mean, I personally, looking from the outside, I feel like this should have been a 10 or 15 minute hearing where the judge sees that she tried to negotiate with us last week to drop it. And that should have been the end of it, I think. But I guess they have to give her due process and let her say what she needs to say.
Yeah, I just don't know how I feel about it. Like, you should have to make some kind of initial showing that's worthwhile to get a hearing. Like, to me, it's like her allegations didn't even fit the statute, and it just becomes so you can drag people from multiple states to like have to drive hours or give up some sliver of their freedom. Like, you shouldn't. I think victims should be protected all the time, but you shouldn't be able to just claim you're a victim and the court has to accept your word for it when you're engaging in the kind of behavior that she does. Like, there should be some kind of motion practice where you have to trade. You should have been able to respond by paper first, I guess,
You know what I think the thing is that got it was what she said, that I sent a sexually explicit video, but she didn't throw in that sexually explicit video were her words on a major YouTube show saying she likes to suck balls.
Right, that she did publicly and willingly. Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's what I said when I first read that petition, which again should not have been a combined petition. She shouldn't have been writing things about you with the one that I got and vice versa. But I was like, that's the only thing that sounded like mildly concerning, was sending a sexual video to my relative, even though it's like, again, why is Kelly not here getting an order on you if she's so disturbed and scared? But that was the only thing that was like mildly concerning. And it's like, no, but it's a lie. But if she's making it sound like you sent her like a porno or something.
No.
And technically, how is she even able to bring that in without having Kelly there to authenticate it?
That's true.
Well, obviously the rules of evidence are like relaxed.
It is a civil,
yeah.
Which he said at the beginning too, but
which I already admitted.
If she tries to say about her family being scared or anything, I would like, if she tries to say about your her being scared or whatever, then she needs to testify.
Right.
She can't be bringing that in, but I think you should make your case about why you messaged her to begin with, which is we already know. We don't even need to go over it again.
And I think you called me a fucked up old hag or a nasty old hag before I even said anything about your daughter and her wish list.
Oh, yes, correct. The dates of those tweets were like a time before you said a word.
So sorry that I don't like it when somebody calls me a
I'm glad I looked at that.
Yes, me too.
But I'm glad I looked at that tweet, Jen, again, because we didn't have that tweet when I had it. I thought you said fuck your daughter and fuck her wish list, but you said fuck off with her wish list, and you didn't say fuck your daughter. You said fuck off with her and her wish list. It was like fuck off with her spiel of using that for sympathy, because it's like that's her entire identity, is being a mom of
a disabled. And
He's
then I
fucking done
looked
it.
through
He doesn't
her.
even live with her
I looked
anymore.
through her account the other day, and I put in the keyword "fuck off," and I screen recorded. It was like a minute and a half of screen records of her telling people to fuck off. She loves
It really
it.
is.
And the other one she likes is "give me a break, give me a break." She likes saying that.
Meredith, when we were talking about the things that were in the petition too, I was just thinking, like, when you got pulled over, it's a good thing the cop didn't see where she said you're a danger to police officers on the petition.
I didn't even get a chance to question that. Like the whole questioning of like, did you like, why did you lie about check these boxes? You have no evidence of like me ever like having any charge or even arrest or anything violent whatsoever in my whole life. Like that's just fucking lies, and you lied to the court. I wish I had time to go over that one.
Yeah.
But
And I have multiple burner phones.
I'm glad you asked Tib about like, okay, well, if I get this decision, you were like, is the police going to show up at my house again? Like, it was clearly like an inconvenience to us dealing with this
Right.
shit.
Right. Because she would probably get on her show and be like, the police are going to serve her again. No, they're not.
Yeah, no, the judge did not like. So some of the stuff though, I need to give you to question. You need, in case you get a different judge, because
Yeah.
who knows who you get. You need to and ask all these same things that I did. We need to not go in assuming that he's gonna like have known everything that just happened with ours. So
Yes, God knows.
I'll
God knows
give
we've
you
had
over
this
my
happen before.
cross-examination questions.
Yeah.
Meredith, God knows we've had that happen
Yeah.
before.
So yeah. So I'll just basically give you all of my cross-examination questions that are relevant with you.
Yeah,
you
like
can
I
play
said,
that
I was.
positivity clip again.
Yep, I was going to do this all yesterday and make it all nice because I've been busy, and I was going to do it yesterday. But then, of course, the Fatty Machado had to, bring anxiety on me, even though I knew she would never get an order. But still, it's a little anxiety ridden. So I didn't even get to sit down and focus.
She's responsible for your
But I'm
mental
going
health,
to.
Jen.
I know. No. Should take out an order on her. Fucking weirdo. They're all fucking weirdos. Stop using the courts, people. Stop using the courts for your stupid shit. And then go back and say, oh, I'm all for Turtle Boy and First Amendment and woohoo.
Think if it happened the
the
other way
texting-
around, right? If they heard your case today instead of that other case today, that woman flew from North Carolina, like she would have to stay another day
Yeah,
because
no, I'm
some
glad that
morons
they
on the
did
because
that.
some morons on the internet got
That's
their
true.
feelings hurt, you know?
That's true. That's a great, like you're looking at somebody that's actually needs an order for her safety, for her life, moved across country to get away from somebody and needs to be heard by a court, but had the chance of having her case not heard because Marie Carvalho doesn't like being called granny balls. That's disgusting. And yes, it's using the court. That's disgusting. She should be ashamed of herself. There are people out here who really are stalked, having people show up at their house, sending things to their house, showing up at their family's house, telling them they're going to kill them, they're going to do this, that. Fuck you.
Yep. I agree.
Disgusting.
I'm equally as offended as you are.
Well, who knows? Maybe she'll think
He
about
thought she
it.
was in danger. If he thought she was in danger, he would have issued the
Yeah.
temporary order, like
Right.
while he went through everything. If he really thought he needed to look at anything to make a final decision, he would have. I think he would have issued a if she thought she was like really in fear.
And he said it 3 times. Like, there's no order. Now there's no order.
He said it to me. Well, I think because it was a different judge. I think that she had to like. There's no temporary order here, right? And he was like, okay, like before, like letting me leave. Like, he's like, okay, so there's no temporary order,
Right.
Like, basically, making sure.
You know what? I'm going to continue to say whatever the hell I want to say because I can. And if Marie doesn't like the things that I say on the internet, I have you blocked, Marie. I have you blocked. You're not supposed to be on my page because I don't want anything to do with you whatsoever. So stop doing it. Take care of your mental health, lady. I'm concerned for you. Take care of your mental health. Stop drinking so much. Stop it. Oh, Meredith, tell them about the drinking thing.
Oh yeah. So after I played the positivity clip where like in one of them she's talking about being drunk and stuff and drinking, and I was like, "Do you drink?" So you said in that clip you consumed alcohol. She's like, "I think so. I don't remember." I was like, "Do you regularly consume alcohol on your shows?" She was like, "Only on Wind Down Wednesdays." She said it like positive, like duh, only on Wind Down Wednesdays. I was just like, okay. I wasn't gonna go back and argue with her. Like, no, okay. What about like Monday and
Monday,
Tuesday?
yeah.
Like, what about last Monday when you were on there on till whatever hour, the one when she said I'm fucking coming for you and
Yeah.
got all angry like at us. She was definitely drunk then. I wasn't even gonna go down that road. I was like, whatever. She already said only Wind Down Wednesdays, so
But this clip was taken on a Monday, Marie.
yeah. I know if we had like a limited time for this, it could have been all day. There's the question that
Oh,
could have been
yes.
so much.
Oh, yes.
So
Save
much.
it for mock court.
Yes, yeah. God. And she hightailed it out of there with her victim advocate pretty quickly. And didn't use,
Yeah.
and took the stairs and everything, like hops down those stairs pretty quickly with her disabled elderly body.
I mean, she's dancing on her shows daily. She's hiking on her shows. Is she actually like collecting disability?
My guess is she can collect Social Security because she's 64, and I think you can collect it like 63, I think, but you don't get as much.
Listen, she gets very parched when she dances and hikes. You got to watch out for her. So.
Oh my God, her dancing.
Oh, so yeah, so she was reading some tweet and I was calling her do-rag ugly or something. And she stopped. She was like, Your Honor, I have Sjogren's syndrome and sometimes my hair is thin, so I have to wear a do-rag or a headscarf, and she's making fun of it, like she's disparaging me for wearing one. And it's like she's trying to make it sound like I was mocking her disability. Like, no, I was mocking your ugly ass do-rag, like, and I'm allowed to. This is not grounds for an order. And again, all of this was after you posted disgusting things about me, wanted to find out where I worked, called Jen's work. Like, this was all after that. Like, this wasn't started by me. She started all of this.
All of it. All of it.
I didn't say a word about her until it was weeks and weeks. And now, like, I've seen even more shit she had been saying on her shows before I said a word.
Yep, this is all her. All her.
And again, that's fine. She's allowed to. I'm not trying to go get an order on her because she said mean things on me on the internet, but I have every right to say stuff back about her and make fun of her if she's going to do that, you know?
She wants a judge to tell us not to say mean things to anybody, not just her, because she'll say, like, somebody has to, come to the defense of all these people that these women have bullied. Somebody has to do it. So it's not even, she just wants a judge. She wants to judge. Her exact words when she said, I don't think I'll get the order, but I want them admonished. So she wants the judge to be like, you're a bad baby. You're a bad baby. Don't say mean words to Marie. She's just a nice, sweet, elderly woman. Be nice. No.
Yeah. I mean, I get the judge. I think he got it, and he probably knows too. Like, if we're gonna ask about the court being public or not, we're gonna obviously we would be appealing this thing if it was ever, God forbid, granted. So, like, I don't think
it's not going to be granted. It's absolutely not going to be granted. She knows that. She knows that. She went into it knowing it. She's all tough on her YouTube show, all tough, and all these people. Nobody was there for her.
She wasn't addressing him as Your Honor, and didn't you say she got like short, snippy with him?
Yeah. Yeah, when we walked in and she was like, what are they all doing in here? I thought we discussed this.
She did. She said it like she was lecturing him, and he didn't like it. He didn't like it when she did it.
Yes, he did not like it. He goes, no, we did not. And then he
said this whole thing. These are on FTR. He's like, this is recorded, and this is like on the record. Anybody can listen to this,
Yeah, and then she said, when we had to like say our names, she was not happy. She was not like Marie Carvalho, Your Honor. She was like Marie Carvalho. Like she was.
I actually liked what the judge did because he said, no, we didn't, and I'll discuss that in a minute. And he like put it aside, and then he actually addressed it from the bench. I like that.
Yeah. Yeah, told her to be prepared that at the next hearing that people are going to be in there.
I also want to give a shout out because the court officers both times Because I came in and went back out and came in again. Like, I sat and talked and joked with them for a few minutes. They were very friendly.
I know I was frustrated because I needed my little vape. And I was like, I thought I was next. He's like, you thought wrong. I'm like, okay. But I'm glad that the North Carolina women went before me, for sure. 100%. Because unlike Marie, I recognize when somebody really needs to be protected.
Yeah, that's the part for me. We can look at this and look at the inconvenience of it and all of that stuff, but like, God damn, there's people in that courthouse every day that really need that protection.
Yeah. Yep. And she's upset because she's she's damaging her own mental health and just wants to blame it. And you know what's sad too? Like, I understand that maybe not like Panda Bear and all her little sparklers come for her, but doesn't she have a girlfriend that could come with her? Doesn't she have like anybody in her town or somebody that could come with her and just for moral support? Like, that's odd to me that nobody even,
I'm almost wondering if she knew that based on all of the things people have been telling her for weeks, including me, even though she yelled at me, I think that maybe she knew that it wasn't going to go well for her. Maybe she wanted to spare herself the embarrassment of having anyone there to witness it so she could lie about the way that it went later.
Yeah. But
I
do notice that she never...
Go ahead.
She never talks about like going out for a drink with a friend or going out for dinner or going out for a walk with a girlfriend. She never even talks about like, oh, my friend Joanne, we do this, this, and this. Like, I think Marie Carvalho is a very lonely woman who doesn't know what to do with herself now that her disabled daughter has moved out and is living her life, which is amazing. She doesn't have a boyfriend or a husband. She doesn't have a job to go to. I think she's a very, very lonely woman who is looking for something within the internet. And she has found that whatever with her people like Valerie and Kazi and these people that encourage her to be the way that she is. And if they cared about her.
To be fair, Val said that she didn't do this and was like, she didn't agree with this. To be fair, as much as I'm not a fan of Val.
No, but I'm just talking about friends in general.
Yeah.
That she's looking for friendship inside the internet from people that are half her age or 2/3 her age who and she's on it every night and just the spaces, the YouTubes, whatever, like just searching. She's searching for something. And it's sad to me because if I'm 64 and I'm alone, I hope, I have friends that, girlfriends, real girlfriends.
I'm not doing this. Yeah, no, I'm traveling. I'm spending time with grandkids and yeah, not this.
She did say she's looking for a boyfriend though, so on her show the other night.
Well, she should do like Match.com or something.
Yeah.
No, maybe she can date that guy from North Carolina.
Yeah, that would be nice. She should do Match.com. That's how I met my husband. We met on Match. I met my son's dad on JDate back in 1999 when you had to send your picture on a flash drive and send it to JDate in the mail and they would upload it for you.
Oh my God.
Did you have to wear a Star of David in the picture so they could verify that you were Jewish? Or
you did not have to prove your Judaism. But it's just so like you can meet people. You can meet people online.
You should have wore a Jews for Jesus t-shirt in your profile picture. That would have been
But yeah, and then I met Steve online. And that's what you do when you're older. How are you going to meet people? You're not going to bars. You're not going to meet somebody in a supermarket. You meet them at church maybe or places like that.
You meet them in court.
No, you meet them in court.
You meet them in court. Isn't that what you do?
Yeah, you meet them in court.
But yeah, to hold somebody else responsible for your own mental health, and she's a nurse, she should know this.
Oh yeah, she was like, in all my years of nursing, I've never seen anything like this kind of harassment. Like, why would you be like that? I know like nurses have recently been like attacked by patients and stuff like that, but I don't see that. I don't feel like there's a history of like overly harassing nurses. Like I don't know what she was talking about there. Like I know like I'm not downplaying it. I know like nurses do a lot, and like it's like there's been an uptick too of like attacks on them and
Yeah.
everything. Like I'm not downplaying that out, but like I don't know why she's like saying like in all my years of nursing, I've never had any harassment like this. Like
What does that have to do with it?
all that harassment, it's a whole different thing. Like what are you talking about?
Yeah, that has nothing
Yeah, it
to
has
do
nothing
with
to
it.
do with it. You don't find, you actually will not find a bigger advocate for nurses than I am. Not only do I have nurses in my family, but obviously as somebody who formerly almost died from cancer, that nurses literally saved my life. Like I actually do have like a special affinity for nurses, and this is not that. This, as a matter of fact, I know so many nurses, and if any of them acted the way she did, I probably wouldn't have such respect for their profession.
Well, when they don't.
Nan requested to
do?
speak. She said,
Jason, do you know yeah, hold on a second. Do you know who people call, the nurses call when they have questions though? Respiratory therapist. Respiratory
Oh,
therapist.
that's right. That's right. Of course they do.
I saw a meme that said that once. It was funny. Hold on, I'm in traffic. Who requested? Oh, Holly.
Nan did.
Oh, wait. Hold on.
Oh, Holly did too. But yeah,
Oh.
Nan said she requested.
I'll add both of them. Okay, I added the two people who requested.
Hi guys.
Hi, Holly. So Holly was there with us today. Holly is Jessica Machado's long-lasting adversary.
Yes, I am. A decade. And I just need to reiterate that I do not know her. I've never met her. I have never even had an acquaintanceship with her, never kind of a friendship, nothing. And she has not left me alone in a decade. The obsession is real.
Yeah. And I think Nan is on here too. Hi, Nan.
Hi,
Your
Nan.
boyfriend is such a nice guy.
Yeah.
Hey guys, it's
My-
Whack Job C. Get it right.
My brother from another mother, Steve. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Liz thought that that Steve was Jason.
Oh, not only
me
did
too.
she, no, not only did she, but she actually said something very, very funny to him. That's an inside joke that was crazy. We make fun of certain people. If anyone doesn't know Liz, she does these amazing impressions, and she does an impression of somebody that comes after me. So she said something very disparaging about me to Steve, thinking she was talking to me.
Oh no.
It was very funny.
And
I
she
love
said
it.
she gave him a big hug, thinking it was you. And he's like, "Who's this person hugging me?"
I love that. Yeah, and I was a spectator from afar, but I tried to give like live updates in Twisted's chat and in the Young Jerks as best I could based on the intel I was receiving from a field reporter named Steve. But I've been listening to your spaces, and I just had a couple comments to you. One is now people really understand how frustrating it can be when you're like sitting around in court and suddenly another case is called, you gotta wait. It's a complete waste of judicial resources, taxpayer dollars, but also I used to take a lot of flack last year when trolls would come at me saying, I thought you're in court. What are you doing, listening to YouTube streams? Do you know how much downtime attorneys have when they're sitting in court? So it was a complete waste of everyone's time to begin with. But now especially it is. And I do hope that you can appear virtually next time. Wow. You know what? I create a little alt account just to follow this, and I'm suddenly getting hammered with messages. Okay. All right, folks. Well, yeah, I'm here. I'm here. But I will also say, you know, to some of the people who absolutely gaslight Marie and, you know, fuel her, I don't know what I want to call it. In my opinion, it's loneliness or some form of, and I'm using this term loosely, insanity, because people are spinning her out and they're saying to her, yeah, you know, do this, you should do it. And nobody showed up for her. And she
Nobody.
had multiple times to withdraw this, which, by the way, Marie, I'm sure you're going to listen to this because you go hunting for it. It's not too late. Withdraw this application, spare yourself, because this is a complete waste of everyone's time. And look how many people are just here listening. And, you know, a lot of people want drama and they're sitting here listening saying, I can't believe this even happened. But no one was there to support you. And there is so much evidence that you yourself are making this worse. And you know, Jen, you made a good point. You said it, I think, yesterday or the day before on a Spaces, and you said it again today, which is, you know.
Oh, did we lose
Sorry,
Nan?
no, I'm here. I got can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, now we can hear
Sorry,
you.
I had an incoming call. You know, Jen, though, you said like you're not responsible for her mental health. You're also not responsible for her content. And, you know, I get it. She started out as a Spaces gal and, you know, threw her invitations out like they were going out of style. Join my Spaces, join my Spaces. Then she decides to start a channel, and all she does, besides dancing with a turban on her head half the time, is read her chat. Look into a computer screen and a camera, dance with a turban on her head, or read her chat out loud. And just a little news flash to you, Marie. When you sit there and you read out loud the disparaging content of chats of other people in your YouTube channel's chat for your streams, you are republishing disparaging and defamatory comments. So be forewarned that there could be legal action that could come your way if certain interested people wanted to understand how the law works. So it's not enough to just sit there and read a chat and think you're having real life conversations with people on the goddamn internet who are not your friends and then say them out loud. When you call Meredith 5150 or you say to me that, you know, I've banged this guy or that guy, or you say anything about my sexuality, how I look in a pair of leather pants, which is hot, by the way, or anything about my quote unquote dusty vagina, or you read a chat from someone who says it, you are facing potential legal consequences that rise far above what any Nashua judge could ever place upon you. So I hope you take this as a huge learning lesson, and it is not too late to withdraw this application. I'm going to get off my soapbox, but you know, I'm looking at my little avatar. I'm a redhead for the day, but you know, I loved all of your commentary, and I know there was some misinformation as to who could come in and who couldn't. And you know, part of me, Jen, selfishly hopes that you are not permitted to appear virtually, because I might have to make a little trip up there myself, because you should have people, just as Meredith should have,
Yes.
in the courtroom. You know, I'm a
I
big
secretly
proponent
want
of
to go
that.
back. I secretly want to go back in person and just watch. I mean, I feel like also that Jen, you brought this up, that our First Amendment right was violated today. Or I'm sorry, our constitutional right was violated today by not being allowed in the open court session.
Holly, you may have missed the part where we did talk about this, and I actually do think that there was genuine confusion. Like, I don't think that there was like a an intentional exclusion just based on the judge's response after. I do think that the bailiff may have thought that the only person with Meredith was Jen, and so that he was, or with Jen, so that he was saying like, "Oh no, yeah, you can't come in. Like we're excluding people involved in
I
this too." It's like
agree.
I don't think it was an intentional slight.
I
Not-
agree.
Do you think that Sparkly, whatever, Marie, do you think that, because I thought she kind of manipulated that to say like they're not allowed in here, and then they wouldn't let us in, or do I have that wrong?
Well,
No,
no, she did say,
I think she tried, yeah.
originally, yeah, she did originally say, I don't want all these people, but it was just me standing there. So I do think that the bailiff got confused. Like, I think if somebody had gone to the judge and said, Jen can stay out there, can, the public come in, he would have said yes, because he would have had to.
I'm actually somewhat embarrassed because I should have just tried to walk into the courtroom and I didn't. And like, I probably would have been able to sit in there for the whole thing. So
Yeah.
it does seem to be like, it's just kind of like everyone else just kind of followed the lead. I think it was just a general confusion thing because they, New Hampshire does take these things pretty seriously. And just based on the judge taking a moment to address it from the bench, I think that is a sign that they really did
Well,
mean it.
Jason, aren't you glad I made you go down to the clerk and ask them so that you got the card to go in and ask for the next hearing? I was like, Jason,
Yeah.
don't say you're a reporter and you want to get in and want to know why, and make it clear we're going to be like questioning why this would be closed to the public because it's not sealed. She didn't file any motion to seal. It's not like about a child. It's not. There's no reason for this to be closed to the public. So like, start using those keywords like to make it clear we mean business. Like there's no reason this should be closed.
No,
You know what I mean?
But they discussed it.
if we do another in-person hearing, I'm just going to get my credentials in New Hampshire and solve the problem, and then
Well, no, you don't need credentials to go in there. It should not be closed to the public.
No.
Unless she's filed a motion that somebody's allowed, which is not happening. There's
no, I agree with
like,
that, but then it
legal
will give me
standard.
the ability to intervene if I need to file legal process myself. You know what I mean? And I can intervene on behalf of opening the courtroom rather than.
Yeah, it's just not that deep though. That should never be closed. So like, we're just gonna go in next time, and then that's that.
I think that's right. I
Yeah.
think it's honestly, I feel a little bit dumb that I just kind of, when I got there, I was like, okay, it is what it is. I didn't want to
Well, you
interrupt.
didn't know.
And I didn't want to
don't know
interrupt.
New
I
Hampshire.
didn't want to interrupt your hearing that was already happening. So
Yeah,
I am
okay,
glad
but
I
I'm
went
glad
down to the
they
clerk
knew that you were
and
with
into the
me.
bailiff.
And I
Yeah.
told you I almost said something too, but I didn't want to like start off with him being like pissing off or anything, so I didn't. But I almost did.
Well, right. But so that's kind of how, right. That's an important thing because that's how courts work, right? There's this two-tiered thing, which is sometimes you have the right to do something, but you also don't want to bring disfavor upon yourself in the case you're standing in front of the judge with. So you don't want to annoy the judge because you want a favorable ruling. So you have this.
I almost said something
thing.
as well. So we were in there for before the judge came for like 3 minutes, and I had my laptop open, so I'd already Googled like sealing court or closing courts to the public, New Hampshire, and immediately all this stuff came up like case law. I could have said why the fuck there's no reason this should be closed. I was like thinking about it before. I was like thinking about saying in my head like, Your Honor, before we get started, is there any reason this was closed? The other party did not file a motion, but then I was like, you know what? Like I just don't even want to get off to the wrong foot and be like come off as a know-it-all or like be like going above the clerk's or not the clerk, like the court officer's head or anything. And just so I was like, fuck it, whatever. We'll get
Yeah,
the
I guess
That totally makes sense. That totally makes sense.
Yeah, you just have to kind of like, what's your overarching goal for the day, and like, is it you pick and choose your battles, right? As you say, like, is there
And
a
you're
chance
still
this is
going to
gonna
get
make
the
it?
audio.
Yeah,
And you're still going to get the.
I feel like kind of back to Nan's point is I feel like people like Marie and Jess Machado, they grew up, they had a bad whatever childhood, or they had something traumatizing happen to them, or whatever it is, and because of that, now all these people are suffering. Like, how did their mental health become or lack of mental health become our problem? Like, we're now like we had to all, like, we didn't all, but you know, Meredith and Jen had to go up to New Hampshire today, take time off from work, waste the court system's time, and all because someone was offended. Like, it's just and because they had like some bad traumatizing thing happen to them, They have no mental health or self-awareness, or
And they also have to understand that somebody's private interpretation of harassment is not legal harassment.
correct.
There's a very specific wordage when it comes to harassment. You know, when somebody says, "Oh, they're harassing me," well,
Exactly.
legally they're not. So stop throwing that word around.
Exactly. Yep.
I agree with all of that, and I think that's probably the actual thing that's offensive. But in addition to that, I think Nan made a like an underpoint that this is sad because I've long said this about Aiden's audience and everything else. Even when I was friendly with Aiden, and to me it was I was looking out for him all the time. I would often lament the turtle riders being a problem because none of these people, and I'm talking about the audience specifically, who the people that cheer this stuff on, they love drama, but none of them have to pay a personal cost for any of this. Like they sit back there and they manipulate situations and they do this stuff and it affects people's real lives. And so those people who are encouraging her and yeah, go get him and doing all this, they're not her friends. They don't care what happens to her. She's the one who is facing the embarrassment, paying the price of doing these things. And like, I don't feel bad for her, but I almost feel bad for her in a way that she's kind of being riled on and fed up by these people who just, this becomes their daily entertainment. And I've always said the same thing about Aiden. And I say the same thing here where it's like, they're writing checks for people, but they don't have any skin in the game in terms of it actually affecting them personally. And that's the
That's
last nice thing
100%.
I'll say about Aiden.
Right? That's a
That
great
is
point.
100%
Great
right.
point.
Like these people get so obsessed with like hurting others and using their platform because they grew up with a bad childhood or whatever it was. They need the attention, so they just wreck the place and attack people and makes them feel relevant or something. Like it's a deeply rooted mental, I think it's a mental, like I feel like it's a disease. I swear to God. I mean, this is like, you can't make this up, and it's like so unhinged. We have to laugh, but it's like not funny anymore. You know what
I mean, I
Yeah.
don't think I've never heard Marie talk about having some kind of troubled child. I don't know. I don't listen to her shows beyond when I have to search for clips, or if somebody tells me like, oh, she's talking shit about you or whatever, and like I see clips on Twitter. But I've never heard her like talk about it. Like I think I've heard her talking about like her beach days at Revere or something, like growing up. Like she talks about it favorably, so I don't even think that's the case here. I don't know what her issue is.
Yeah, that makes sense. I guess I was more referring to Jess Machado. But it's similar. They're similar people, but they have different issues, whatever they are. You know, it's just frustrating.
I'm here listening, but I'm going to stay muted for a minute because I'm on a side quest, but I'm here. So I'll be right back.
You know, one of the things that I would add is having had an opportunity to interact with a vast array of content creators, is that, and no, I didn't pay them to be my friends, but having met many of them or interacted with many of them, I can see a distinct difference between content creators who actually have lives and real human interpersonal social connections, jobs, and just healthy social activity versus those who don't. And, you know, anyone wants to see an example of those who I think do have those healthy social connections and don't just live their lives with these parasocial relationships, which are just insidiously fed by drama thirsty viewers. You know, look at who I comport with. And, you know, I'm not going to name names, but you see who I comport with doesn't mean you all have to. It just means there's a distinct difference. The people who sit around and throw hate or try either directly or indirectly to stir on real life consequences with people, whether it's contacting employers, contacting schools, contacting licensing boards, and the like, causing restraining order proceedings to take place. Those are the people who I don't know, something's missing in their lives, and they hunt around to find validation. And,
Yes.
and unfortunately, that validation that they're getting is in the forms of clicks and the views, as McNacho likes to say. And that correlates to their wallets, and it's problematic. So, I mean, really, in all of this, I say this being a viewer and not a content creator. This falls upon the viewers to send a message, because all you're doing is feeding these fragile egos who, these people are happy to punch you in the face. And the minute you punch back, stand up for yourselves, start showing receipts, start defending yourselves. I mean,
They
how
can't
many
handle it.
right. And how many times have I read or heard Altman and Meredith say, I'll stop when you stop.
Exactly.
Right? If you continue, I'm going to defend myself. And they don't stop. But then
No, they don't.
Right. And then when Altman and Meredith understandably and very justifiably punch back, and it happens with creators too. I've seen Mike punch back. I've seen Brian LTL punch back. When there is a punching back, suddenly it's, I got to run.
They see us, or they see others that they're jealous of because of this trauma that they went through, and they have social, like, personal issues. They just, like, don't stop.
Yeah. And it's interesting to think about, because first off, the comments that you just made about Candace Owens and Hunter Biden, people will look at that and say, oh my gosh, she's making political statements. No, you're not. You're commenting on the humanity of it all.
Yes.
And, Elise had said of Untwisted Tragedies had said, she said it in recent weeks, and I think she also said it yesterday. She said, after all of the water under the bridge that has happened between her and Altman, like Altman, and, she could speak to it, but my understanding is Altman kind of came to her and said, there is no excuse. I'm not going to make excuses, and I am sorry. Does that mean that Altman is a weak person, or that she aligns with every single value or opinion that Elise has? Absolutely not. But one thing that they both share, and there are many, but one thing that they both share in common is they're humans. Okay.
Yes.
I mean, I've spewed hate on Twitter. And I've said it before, and I'll say it again. It has been a byproduct of what came my way. I make no excuses for either defending myself or becoming utterly jaded at all of the vitriol that has come my way, or the misunderstandings about me that people just blindly believe because a bunch of gutter Muppet YouTube channel creators, and there's only some,
and their followers.
Okay. And their followers. That's right. That's right, Gailey. These people make up a theory in their mind, and the followers and gutter muppet content creators run with it. So suddenly that must be the truth.
Yes.
So
it's an illusion of truth. They repeat it so much because they have nothing better to do than to sit in their mother's fucking basement and repeat this shit on social media, this garbage that's literal defamation and damaging to dozens of people. And we're all finding each other, thank God.
Yes.
Because I was on an island for so long, and then you're dealing with rumors in your community because you may be a public figure or just a lot of people know you, and you don't want to go to the grocery store, and then you get assaulted twice at your friend's driveway. They block you in and try to get into your car. Like, I don't know these people. What is wrong? Like, why is it's like a mob, and they find each other just like we found each other.
That's right.
But they don't stop.
They do not stop. And it's really a bunch of people who are just missing something in their hearts, minds, personal lives. I mean, it's a common thread amongst all of them. And in addition to that, it's the inability to self-recognize and to correct course. This is my opinion, but it absolutely has never been too late for people, for example, who may have heard unlawfully wiretapped calls or call to just apologize. Just say, I lied, I apologize. Don't give partial apologies.
We see through it. Like, don't they get it? We all see you. We know what you're doing. You're lying.
That's it. Everybody knows. Everybody knows what happened.
Like give it up. Give it up.
This partial, oh, I'm so sorry, I did a bad thing, I'm gonna say I lied. Some people have said they lied, and then only I love how in the last 7 days someone has come forward and said, if you're going to tell the story, then you have to tell the whole story, and only told part of the story. Then there's someone else who has just decided to follow the narrative of, whether or not there was a certain recording, who cares? No one cares, and suck my dick. And, like, really, just come clean. People love redemption stories. People love when those who maybe went astray come clean and say, this was a bad choice on my behalf. I'm sorry I did it. I'm, as Altman said, as I've been made to believe, to Twisted, like, I'm not going to make excuses for you. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have. And compassionate people will forgive that.
I think that's an important point in this whole thing about humanity. I can tell you, like, even just on this panel, just the people that are here speaking, I've had, Jen Altman and I have had some real issues. Like, it's been a real thing. And we've both apologized to each other. But even without an apology, you mentioned Twisted Tragedies. When she was living in a hotel because she was homeless, it was in the height of when people were attacking her, and I couldn't bring myself to do it. And in fact, on her birthday, way back before there was any meeting of the minds or people coming together, I sent her $25 and said, go buy yourself a coffee or go buy yourself something nice, because that's just being human. There was somebody in a bad situation, and despite the fact that I probably didn't agree with her on a single thing, I'm still a person and she's still a person. And the same thing the same thing happened with Jules. Jules, the medium, has been going through a hard time, and I had a nice bonus from a customer at one point who paid me, and I got a little bit of extra money, and I sent her along $25 because she's going through a hard time. Like, that doesn't mean I agree with those people. I didn't even feel the need to apologize in some of those situations, but just be humans to each other. Like, that's what we're missing.
Right. And to Nan's point, I think it was Nan that said it, is that, like, she's exactly right. Like, they should apologize and own it and whatever. But the problem is that that's how good people would react. Like, good people would say, oh, I'm sorry. And like, oh yeah, I messed up. Like, oh, I was wrong or whatever. but these people are just not us. They're not the same. We're not the same. I guess like we're just, they're not capable of apologizing or having self-awareness. It's
I
just like,
wanted to invite, I see Nina. Nina is now a speaker, and Nina, I think, can say a lot about Marie since she, kind of was the spaces queen with her for a while. So, hi, Nina. Hope you're well.
Hi, how are you? Hi, Jen.
Good.
How everyone? How Meredith? How are you guys?
Hey, Nina.
hi Nina, we love
Hi.
you.
Hi, Nina.
Love you too.
I'm like saving this conversation forever because you guys are awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I must be. I feel sad. I feel sad for Sparkly. I feel sad for everyone. It's not that there's a winner out of it, right? It's just sad, and it feels like a little bit like Sparkly's in a situation when like a 16 years old teenager who's trying to find her way, right? Trying to find her group of people, and she just chose the wrong group of people, and she had really good supporters, really nice people. I mean, me myself, and she had YBE, she had everyone. We liked her, we supported her, and she really really messed it up when she let the chat going after people. And that was the problem, because her chat was really like just trolls, and they trolled her, they still trolling her. I'm 100% convinced that's still happening. They make fun of her, and Valerie is a problem for me. And also I don't know about Kossi, if he's trolling her or if he's real. I don't even care. But there's a lot of people behind the keyboards who just like that kind of, yeah, go after them, go after this person, go after that person. And and she really went with that. She went with that, and she chose to go that way. She chose the Turtle Boy way, and that community. And now it's and I'm 100% sure she was manipulated somehow by Turtle Boy and his followers, and go after
I
them.
agree with you.
Yeah, with
I
court.
agree with you,
Go,
Nina.
yeah.
She's being manipulated. They're laughing at her. They laugh
Yeah,
at her
they
every
are.
night.
And I try to tell her that, like, really, like, as a friend, I try to tell her that privately, like, hey, watch, be careful with these people. They're not real people. They don't I mean, I didn't say they don't like you, but I said, like, just be careful. They love the drama, and they're using you for that.
Yeah, they always want
And
someone else to do their dirty work. That's what's happening.
right, right, exactly. And she went full with it, and she said to me, I don't care. Fuck off, Nina. You're a bitch. You're the drama queen. You're the drama stirrer or whatever. I don't know. And then but we always have a choice, right? We always here in this spaces, we also have a choice to step back or to go after her. And my choice was to step back and to say, okay, Sparkly, I try to tell you in like in a nice way, and that's the only thing I can do. And I never talked shit about her. I never called her any names. I mean, I talked about her, of course, but not in like, yeah, sometimes, yeah, I made fun of her, but yeah, as a response too. But now I'm like, the best thing would just be really just leave her alone. Leave her alone. Um,
I agree.
don't talk about her. Don't make fun of her about her. Don't make skits about her, because it's just not helping, right? It's just it. Then you are also making a choice to to make it worse. And
Yeah.
I think the adult should come in to all of us and just like, okay, Sparkly, that was a bad thing. Okay, let her breathe, let her think about it. If she can choose whatever she want to do, block her, whatever, and just leave her alone. I think that would be the best for now, because I feel sad for her. Actually, I do. If she struggles with issues, then it's not helping, what we're doing right now, and and
I do
and
agree
for
with
all of
you,
us.
Nina. And if that does happen and make the decision not to, you know, make fun of her, she'll have you to
Yeah,
thank for that. She'll have you to
right.
thank for that because you're looking out for her best interest. I saw it the other day when she was doing her YouTube show and they're like talking about a Dutch oven and she doesn't know what it is. And her whole entire
Yeah,
chat is laughing at her,
yeah,
telling
and she
her,
doesn't
you
get
know,
it.
and she
Yeah,
doesn't get it.
yeah,
And she's like,
it's
oh, I'm
sad.
just naive.
Right.
Marie,
And
they're
I
laughing
tried
at
to
you.
tell her. I really tried to tell her they're making fun of you,
Right.
but she doesn't get it. She doesn't get it, and
I mean, I get it, and I do have sympathy, but at the same time, I had to spend part of my weekend this past weekend defending this restraining order. I'm now,
I
it's
agree.
6 o'clock,
Yeah,
getting back to South Boston, and I had to use a day off when I don't have a ton of vacation
I
days from
know.
my new job. And this
Yeah,
woman was threatening to find my new
yeah,
job and get me fired from my new job.
yeah,
Like, I don't have that much sympathy at this point when she's actually fucking with my life now
yeah.
that I had to spend time
Absolutely.
dealing with this
Yeah,
crap.
but then really, it's like, okay, she tried this. She tried it. She failed. She failed completely. And now I think we just should ignore her. I mean, I think that's the best. Just ignore it.
Yeah, and I said like I wasn't gonna delete anything last week because then it's like saying I did something wrong, and then she doesn't drop it, and
Right.
it's like, oh well,
Yeah,
they
I
deleted it now.
understand.
So I wasn't gonna do anything, and I said to Jen, I was like, if after this is over and like there's a continued period of time she doesn't talk about me or anything, I'll delete the
Yeah.
Substack. I don't really give a shit if it's up or not. Like it's not. But if she's gonna keep going on, why would I not leave that up? Like you know what I
Yeah, but
mean? If she's gonna keep
even if she
regularly.
if she can't stop talking about you, I would just ignore it. I think it's just the best. Just ignore. I mean, she talked about me all the time, and I couldn't care less. Leave her. Really, it's like, don't give her the oxygen to go further. It's just not healthy for
Well,
anyone, not for you and not for her. It's like no one wins. No one
if
wins.
I can just make a comment there, because I like and respect you very much, Nina. I think respectfully, it's a little bit different for people like Altman and Meredith and myself and some others, because I can tell you from personal experience, I've tried to ignore all of it, whether it's
Yeah,
Marie
I
or
know.
others.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
honestly, it actually doesn't stop. I mean, I've been off Twitter
I'm
now
not
of,
sure with Sparkly. I think with Sparkly it would stop.
oh no,
And
she was talking about me a couple days ago. It just
okay,
doesn't stop.
No,
And
no, it is not going to stop. And that's people have been telling me that for a decade. And I don't think people that are nice people and loving people and intelligent people, they can't wrap their heads around the fact that some human being can be this horrible.
She won't
yeah,
stop
And
only
yeah,
because people are
but that's only for
encouraging her.
content.
I
it's
It's only
agree.
for content. She
People are
only talks about
encouraging
you because
her.
of
and
content.
it just gets worse. I mean, my friend had a 3.5 year HPO against her and she still
No,
talks about her.
Holly, we're
And
talking about Marie, not Jessica. We're
oh, I'm
talking
so
about Marie.
sorry.
Right, but
I'm so sorry.
whoever in the back,
Well,
someone in the back just said that it's about content, and that's the problem, right? The
yes.
problem is that she's enjoying this newfound what she considers to be popularity, even though it's mostly people making fun of her. Like for her, this is fulfilling some need for her. And the more she talks about Meredith and Altman and adopts other people's enemies, because if you remember, Marie was a supporter of Meredith until
Yeah,
she
me
figured
too.
out it became
Yeah,
more popular for her to oppose her. Like that's
Yep.
all this is. This is about content and it's
I'm just,
about
right.
I'm just,
needing to maintain that level of popularity.
real
Yeah,
quick,
but
I'm
if
still
you
keeping
push
this.
back,
Hold on
then
one
that
second, Nina. I'm gonna
sorry.
keep this space going. I made Jason a co-host, but I just got home, so I'm gonna put it on mute and I'm gonna listen a lot and you guys just keep talking because I'm agreeing with everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you
Same.
push
I'm getting
back,
home, so I can't talk for a while.
if you push back all the time, then it's a never ending circle, right? If you just ignore it, it, it will end. With Sparkly, I think it will end.
I don't think so because she's got people like Turtle Boy. She's got, even though he says he doesn't like the
No, she
drama,
doesn't
he
have
does.
Turtle Boy. She doesn't have Turtle
Yeah,
Boy. Turtle
she's
Boy
not
that
gonna stop.
gives a shit about her.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's,
but
I
Don't
know
no,
give a shit
that's,
he
about
doesn't
her.
but
give a shit about anybody, Nina. But what he does do
yeah.
is he encourages this either directly or through other people because he wants it to keep going. So he doesn't want to get his hands dirty either, but he will certainly comment to people that talk to her about how much he likes it, and they'll pass the word to her.
No,
So
but I think they all know that she's not the one.
I went
I
I
ahead
think
think
and
you're
they
added
wrong.
already
I
left.
came up
There you go.
just
Thanks.
to say that I gotta disagree, Nina, because I was saying this on MySpace earlier. I just think it's really interesting that the only people that ever get targeted with this like lawfare are Turtle Boy's enemies. So I do think that she has Turtle Boy. I think that he is encouraging this, and I think that if he and Meredith had never broken up, or he and Jen had never fallen out, this would not be happening right now. But
Right.
Marie is the pawn du jour, and she gets a constant positive feedback loop every time that she pulls this shit, so she's not going to stop.
You
She
know,
won't.
I'm
It's
not
like
so
a
sure.
exactly.
dopamine
I'm not
hit.
so sure. I think everyone, even the Turtle Boy writers, they see what's happening and they don't really support her. They like, okay, she's weird. They don't really want to be part of this sparkly thing. And Turtle Boy also, I mean, he said, yeah, I'm 100% behind Sparkly, but he's not really right. He can't stand her. I mean,
well, no, but that's
you
Yeah,
how
but
really,
he
he is with
doesn't have the.
everybody, Nina. And I really,
Yep.
I actually, you're very sweet. I actually really appreciate your idealism. But the problem is that that's exactly what he does. He rewards you with attention, either directly or indirect,
right,
when you're
Yeah,
right.
and
doing
they're
what he
all
wants you to
similar.
do.
They're all
But
similar. They're all similar. And Sparkly is not gonna. She's just not gonna stop. We can hope she will stop, but I don't. I don't know. I just don't think she will.
and maybe the best way, sorry, would be to be nice to her.
Well, I think kind of a hybrid
No,
strategy, what you're
no,
suggesting would work,
no.
Nina, because I think the trick is I think what Meredith and what Jen have been doing is they sit back and they say, like, when you stop, we'll stop, and then they don't lead the thing, they just reply. And I
Right,
think
but
that
it's not Sparkly. It's a chat. It's her chat feeding her with all these ideas.
right, but at some point, like, what do you do? Like, we can't control her chat as much as she can't control
Right.
them, you know?
Yeah.
And so
Just be nice to
if
her.
she
Just say nice things about her. Just say,
Uh,
and then she can't say anything. That's what I did. I just said nice things. I was like, I never said anything bad about her. I wished her all the best. I don't want to have anything to do with you, but I wish you all the best. I don't have, you're a great mother. You're a great grandmother. That I think really she is a great mother and grandmother. And I don't comment on your wish list. I don't comment on your whatever. Yeah, have a
you,
nice
you
life.
you know what I
And
think
then
what
it was
works for
done.
I think what works for you, Nina, is you're genuinely well regarded as a very nice lady, and I think people
Yeah, you
I,
don't. Yeah, but that's a choice.
no, I
You don't
agree with
have to be an
that.
asshole.
No, I agree with that, but I think people would be remiss to try and I think your strategy is correct for you, because I think people would be remiss to try and then turn that against you, and like, what can they say? I agree with you 100%. But people get commended for attacking me just for attacking me. It doesn't matter if I
Yes,
actually did
yes.
It's
it.
that's
Doesn't
And I
matter.
exactly.
agree. And I agree. If
That's
you get
exactly
attacked,
right.
you have to defend yourself. I agree.
You have
But
to.
the way you do it, that's a choice.
No, I
Well,
agree. And
no.
I can tell you
Well,
that I have long-term people that come after me, that literally have dedicated their lives to me. We were talking about people like Video Jesus, or some other crazy lady that lives up near New Hampshire, who's for years every day has, probably 20 to 40,000 posts about me. And the truth of the matter is I just don't engage. I agree with you. I think that's a valid strategy. I just
Yeah.
don't do it. But
It is, and I've done that as well. But the problem is it being nice. I was extremely nice for so long, and it never mattered whether I was online, nice, mean, defending myself, silent. It doesn't matter with these types of folks. Like she just doesn't.
Yeah.
They don't care if you're nice. Like in a perfect world, yeah, of course, being nice brings get more bees with honey. But it doesn't. I don't know. I just, in my experience, I just feel like someone like Sparkly just
No, I
that's
think it's
well,
not Sparkly, it's the chat.
it is.
Can we have
It's
a
a
moment of
still
silence
think
for
it's not
Puma?
Sparkly.
R.I.P. Puma.
Rip Puma.
Sorry, I heard Video Jesus, and I just want to acknowledge what a tragedy and a
Puma
loss it
belongs.
was.
Puma belongs to the world. So
You guys can buy my Puma brand T-shirts. Not the brand, the cat, but you can buy them at any point.
you got to be careful about that copyright infringement around here. I know.
I own Puma.
It is. I think that the one piece that's missing, Nina, I think you're 100% on point. Like, I think that's smart. I think the one piece that's missing is that there are exterior forces that have their fingers in this, that wanted to
Yes.
keep going, that wanted
Yeah.
to do that. And so until the person that is being manipulated into doing the dirty work, listen, I know a lot about this, until the person that's manipulated into being the one doing the dirty work comes to the realization themselves, there's not much we can do to help them.
Yeah, I agree.
Let me
But
lay this out for you, Nina. This is the situation, and it's different from your situation, right? Aiden Carney is afraid and has delusionally convinced himself that Meredith and Jen are going to go to the police about him because obviously they know where some bodies are buried. So his only recourse, his only solution that he can cook up in his head is, well, I have to get them hooked up on something. That way, if they go to the police, I can say, but Your Honor, they're terrible people, and they harassed this poor elderly lady that likes to talk about sucking balls, right? So there's no stopping it because he's not going to let go of this ill-advised belief that they have gone to the police or are otherwise plotting to expose him, right? And until he feels like that threat is neutralized, this doesn't end.
That's sad.
And I can
That's
tell you,
sad.
Nina, that when it comes to Meredith's case, he called and begged people to file charges against Meredith. He was on the phone. I was on a three-way call with him and another person who I don't need to talk about or embarrass them, but I was on the phone and they openly said to me with him on the phone, like, yes, he keeps pressing me saying that I have to go file charges against her, that I have to do this. And I don't want any part in that. I don't want to have anything to do with this. And he was basically literally pressuring people because that's what he needed to happen. And he only cares about what he needs to happen.
Yeah, and I think Kate is right. As long as the person who is manipulated doesn't get it, or you said it, I don't know. Yeah, then that's not much that you can do. But you can still be like an adult and don't feed into someone else's mental health, right? That's what I mean. I know Sparkly is a grown-up person and I get all of that. But still, if you have an army against you, that's also not cool. And it's not it's not the same situation like a year ago where most of the people were silenced who spoke up against Turtle Boy. So now more and more people are against Turtle Boy, and then if you're in the middle of it and you get attacked from everyone, then I could imagine it's not easy, even especially if you're lonely, especially if you don't have friends, right? So I feel I get it. I don't think what she did is cool or not at all. I mean, it's ridiculous what she did, and it's nasty and yeah, just wasting court time and taxpayers' money, and she's a hypocrite. Everything I agree, but to now go on and feed it even more, even by responding in the way you respond, that's just a choice you have to make. How do I respond?
Well,
You can respond
I
in
think
this way
today,
or that way.
I think I agree with you, and I don't think anyone's intention is to go forward and keep attacking Marie. Like I don't think anyone has
Right.
attacked Marie, frankly. But I mean,
Never.
today we responded by going to court because she created this, and like Meredith and Jen
Yeah.
had no choice but to go to court, and some of us went to support them. But I'm not suggesting that people now that it be open season on Marie and people go attack. We just want Marie to like just go do your own thing, Marie. Just go away.
Right.
Like
Right.
and if
That
you
would be
if you
cool.
continue to make
Yes.
other people content, sometimes people are going to have to respond. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
Of
the
course.
thing is too, and it's like, okay, so like I have no desire to contact her or talk to her. I don't see her. Like she created the only time we've ever seen each other by having this hearing today. But like, so I guess the thing was like, oh, if you don't care, you could have just ignored it and let her get it. But it's like, I have no doubt she will try and like weaponize this into getting me in trouble. She since like applying for this, she's already accused all these other burners of being me and Jen, like that aren't we have nothing to do with and stuff. So it's like I
Yeah,
have
but
no
that's
idea.
not
She'll
her.
try. I have no clue what she'll try and pull and say and be dragging us back to say we're violating it or something. You know what I mean?
That's not her. That's all her chat.
No,
Wait,
Valerie
she
Meredith,
herself
and
somebody
all
saying
these
said
people.
that we should just let her get it so that she can use it against us to have us arrested and make it into a criminal charge.
That-
No, thank
No,
you.
no.
but that's
No.
the
Yeah.
problem. Is she's the tool. It doesn't matter if it's she's the tool, and she's put
Yeah.
herself in a position to try and have the power. Which case you have to defend against that. There's nothing you can do.
And if I can just say something on this, like I do disagree with Nina because it will continue. But as far as the chats are concerned, um, Marie makes a choice. She makes a choice as to what her content is. She makes a choice what comes out of her trap and what she allows to go on in her chat. She can block people. She can choose not to make them, speakers or stop throwing links, etc. She doesn't do that. If
No.
there's anyone who needs any type of morality check here, it's Marie. And I may sound passionate when I say that. I respect your opinion, Nina. I just
No, I
disagree with
told
it.
her that. I
Yeah.
told her that.
And when
Yeah.
there's another creator, smaller channel, and whenever I pop into that creator's chat, there's people in the chat who will start bashing me, and that's their right to do it. But that creator will say, I'm not going to have that here. Please stop. You all can stay, but there's someone in my chat. I like that someone, and I'm not going to tolerate that in my chat. So that's where
Yes.
Marie falls short,
Right.
in my opinion,
Right.
because she does not execute that type of
Yeah. I agree.
mission.
And to your point, that the most people like Nina, who's very kind and sweet, I've been
certain narrative, which I frankly believe she doesn't even believe in. She's just caught up in the shiny new level of attention she's getting, or drama that's feeding her, or padding her pocket. But I think it's very telling that you have those like Kazi, even Valerie, who my understanding is she doesn't live anywhere near there, and I do understand that she did not think this court application was a wise move. And others, that Panda person, like none of them showed up for her today, whether they sat in a hallway, which is where I presume everyone was kind of sitting outside, or, just came in person to lend support, and they don't. And it's my understanding also, and I could be incorrect, that even Aiden was like saying in the last day or two, like, don't go to court over words on the internet. And I don't think he was only referring to McNacho when he said that. I think he was also including Marie in
Yeah.
that edict.
I agree,
So
except for that's just his little distancing tactic. It's not his actual
yes,
belief.
I
Yeah,
agree.
he was just
agree.
tough on Machado because she failed. If she had gotten a judge that was like, yeah, let's issue it, he would have been crowing all over the internet about what a massive win this is and what a dangerous person Jen Altman is.
100%.
The only reason that he backpedaled and was like, oh, don't do that is because Jess failed.
Correct. I agree with that. And it's isn't it hypocritical how strident supporters of the First Amendment, allegedly people like Marie, who says she's in this because First Amendment, but then she files this application just like Jess McNacho files her application yesterday against Altman. These are people who have channels and responsibilities, and they, to the public, to their audiences, and the minute their feelings get hurt, they run to the courts. Like, it's disgusting, the level of hypocrisy. As a viewer, I'm sitting here going, what is going on? Which is why I hopped back on social media for this. I also, before I forget, because I know the day is growing long, but I did want to say I had the honor of being at least tangentially involved in some of Altman and Meredith's preparation that they did for today's hearing. And I want to say the both of them take these allegations against them extremely seriously. And from what my observation was, and I didn't know everything, they were exceedingly prepared. All of what they've ever done to Marie has been responsive to her overtures, which have been so far afoul of what is appropriate in a social media setting. And honestly, I'm in awe of them. They took this very seriously. They traveled afar. They should consult with counsel licensed in their jurisdiction for what their rights are to recoup, whether it's time off of work or travel expenses consistent with the IRS reimbursement rate for their mileage. But this has been a colossal waste of time. It's my understanding also that Marie is currently live. So I'm at some point going to hop off because I'm interested to hear what she has to say. But I do want to say, lastly, that for those speaking on this spaces, I just want to say, like, I hope more people from both sides of the aisle, and it's really multiple sides now because there's people, including speakers, in the spaces who fundamentally disagree on what happened to Officer John O'Keefe back in January of 2022. But I hope that people who are listening to spaces like this realize that there's a commonality in what they feel is acceptable behavior online. And if we can all walk away with some lesson here, it's don't accept to be bullied online. I mean, if you want to continue being online, you want to swim with sharks, expect to get bitten. But sharks that get bitten also bite back. And I admire both of these two women for doing just that. And if it were me and that order was sought on me as well, I too would have bitten back. And I'm really contemplating my own options as to Marie, because if she continues to speak disparagingly about me in the way that she has, or starts republishing or rebroadcasting negative comments about me from her chat or the speakers she chooses to throw links to, then I'm going to get an order on her. I think this is completely a waste of judicial resources. It's a waste of all of our time. But one thing I have learned from Altman and Meredith is, strong women don't have to sit back and take it, and strong men as well, because there's men who've also been the subject of multiple ongoing, incessant critiques from some of these irresponsible gutter Muppet content creators who have nothing better to talk about.
I am literally cheering right now as you're talking
Yeah.
on mute.
There you go.
Sorry.
And back to my point though, to you, Nina, which is people like, I'm just going to use an example, people like Brian LTL, people make fun of him because someone decided it was time to do that. And while I disagree with the criticism that he has faced over almost the last year, which my understanding was publicly it started by Muchacho or McNacho, whatever you want to call her, she doesn't stop talking about him. And
Yeah, it's true.
these gutter Muppets, none of them has any content of their own to talk about. And those who do talk about or try to create their own content, can we just say for a moment how ridiculously offensive and annoying and hypocritical it is that some of the people who were involved in the recording, the unlawfully procured, illegally wiretapped recording of Karen Read, no matter where you fall on the aisle, those people either say, who cares, it doesn't matter, suck my dick, etc. But those people who I say with certainty Karen Read absolutely hates, they're happy to either ignore that fact, make a big nothing burger of it. Some of them come forward with their fake partial apologies. Other people who are happy to spew bullshit on their streams about many people, including myself, but suddenly some of them are silent. I don't want to get involved because I know all the people involved. I have relationships with the people involved. How ridiculously weak those individuals are, because it is important, but you're too fucking afraid and you're a bunch of pussies who can't step forward and say, this is unacceptable, or yes, I heard a wiretap. Just admit it. Just admit it. But you're a bunch
Yeah.
of pussies that are afraid of what's going to happen when your leader comes at you.
And
And
then that is
yeah,
that is exactly my problem with all of this. And I love you, Nina, but the standard of things that are objectively terrible, right? Like wiretapping people or dehumanizing people by calling them 5150 or McAlberts or whatever. That is where Sparkly lost me, because I
Yeah,
got
me
her
too.
to
Me
agree with
too.
me
And that's but
that
okay, I have to clarify
objectifying
that. Let
people
me
with
clarify
those.
that for a moment.
No,
Because
let me finish.
no, just a
She
second.
she
Just a
agreed
second.
with me on your spaces that
Yeah,
it is objectively terrible to objectify people with terms like that. And then she
right.
went off and started a YouTube
And did
channel
it.
talking about
Yeah,
Meredith as
yeah.
5150. It's
And
awful.
right. And I
It's
called
not good
and
faith.
that's what I'm saying. I called her out for that. I wanted to hold her
I
accountable. I
know you
called her
did.
out on her live stream. I told her all these
I
things.
know.
And then when she didn't took any responsibility,
Nope.
I said, okay, bye. That's it. And
Right. But
we're done.
if she was just a good faith person who had a different idea of the world, that would be one thing. But she actually
Right.
agreed with
I
us and then
agree.
went out and did it. And that's a different kind of intent, in my opinion. That's
Right.
just me.
I agree with that. I agree. That she is accountable for all her actions, her own actions. What I'm saying
My problem is,
is
oh, go ahead.
that she was or she still is manipulated. That doesn't mean that she's not responsible. But it's both, And
My problem is I can't walk away like that when I know someone is doing something that's damaging somebody else.
Right.
And when they're damaging, like when they're literally damaging someone's, whether it's
Yep.
reputation, their mental health, their emotional health, like whatever it is, or losing jobs. Oh, let's
yeah.
talk about Meredith
Right.
losing her
That's
job.
just
When they're
awful.
damaging I cannot turn away. It's
Right.
literally why I'm in law school. Like, I can't watch more people get harmed, and I'm not going to choose to be nice to these people. They are horrible, horrible people,
No.
and they're all similar.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
we
agree.
have
I
to
agree.
agree on certain things that are just objectively awful. Like,
I,
we just have to agree on that.
Olivia, hang on one second. I just want to throw something in here too, which is I'm going to run back to what Nan said for a minute, which was talking about how offensive it is that these people talk about being supporters of the First Amendment. I mean, that is 100% exactly why I no longer wanted to cover for Aiden Carney, right? Like, because I am a supporter of the First Amendment. I believe in it. And he doesn't. He only wants the First Amendment
I
for
agree
himself.
with you.
But to the point that we're all just making now, I knew very early on. I mean, remember, it was Meredith and he and I going back and forth trying to resolve their issues through the end of September, October, November. We knew by mid-November and definitely early December that wasn't happening. I remained silent at that point because I thought we still may be able to work out a deal to make it stop, because my sole concern at that moment was Meredith, and Meredith not losing her job and Meredith not getting attacked. And so during that period of time, it was, what can I do to protect Meredith, right? And it was only when this continued, and I know some of you have been dealing with it for a long time when a lot of us didn't see it, right? But when it continues and it's, oh, Jabril now, he's going to scream that Jabril assaulted a young girl, which could potentially cause him to face charges. He's going to say that this guy, Alex, wasn't sexually assaulted when he has no idea whether that happened or not. It was all of these things that they just finally started to add up, that I did say it's no longer just about protecting Meredith. It's time to protect everybody, because this is not like, so that's why I was silent. But I also tell people all the time, people come to me and they're like, they get mad and they're like, I want to speak out against this. And sometimes I have to evaluate them and say, you're just going to be the next victim and maybe you can't handle it. So I do tell some people, I've talked people off the ledge saying, maybe you don't want to do this. Like, you've got too much to lose, or you have this happening. But I'm glad, to the point that Nina made, that we are in a different place than we were last year or the year before or whatever else, where people are openly, and the numbers are growing every day, are openly speaking out against that kind of behavior. We're past the Karen Reed, John O'Keefe criminal trial, right? Like, this doesn't have to be about sides anymore. There is no sides. I don't care about
Right.
that. If you oppose
Yeah.
people attacking others on the internet, and especially when they do it in a serious way and it's done maliciously and for personal gain and all of that, then I'm with you. I don't care where we disagree. This is where we should all be able to agree, and our numbers are growing.
Yeah, it's objectively
Right.
terrible. That's all I ever wanted her to agree to, is that there are some things that are objectively terrible. Let's not do those things. And, people who
Yes.
engage in good faith generally agree with that.
Yeah, and she chose to go this path,
Yep.
and it was a choice, and that's why I'm saying we all have choices. We are adults. We have choices. I mean, we're not children. So I'm not a fan of her. not at all.
I know that.
I said goodbye. I
I know.
We didn't take it that way, Nina. We didn't.
For a reason, it was for a reason.
I know.
But that doesn't mean that I have to talk about her all the time.
No, for sure
I'm
not.
just done. I'm just done.
I get it.
And I hope
But
hope
she's
she
dragging
can
these
move on.
women into court. She's
Yeah,
costing them
that's
money.
horrible. That's horrible.
It's terrible. It's bad. It shouldn't
Yeah, it's
happen. None
the
of it should
worst.
happen.
It's the worst. But it will backfire. And that's and with Chess as well. I mean, what's happening to Chess as now? I mean, it yeah, it's just self-deserved.
Cell
Yeah.
phone.
The bottom line, the
Just don't be an
problem is,
asshole.
if you're going to court to score points, you're there for the wrong reason. Like, court is horrible. Nobody should aspire to be there. It's not fun.
No.
It's damaging to everybody involved, even if you win. Like, you've spent time, you've spent money. Like, court is not something to
No, it's
aspire
not.
to. It's not something that you
Yeah.
should be wanting to attend so
nobody
you can
wins.
Well,
score
what
a
about
point.
people who are really in very dangerous situations where they need the
Right.
judge's time to protect them from an abusive person? Like,
Lydia, we actually covered
Yeah.
this today because we didn't get to go for Jen's portion of the hearing, but the one that went before us was actually really important. A witness flew from North Carolina. Like it's a big deal. And I'm so glad that they got to go because they needed the court today. They
that's
needed to
so
be there,
sad.
and we didn't.
I know. It's just tragic, honestly.
Yeah, and I had a rant yesterday on on my own spaces with myself about that. I mean, the real victims who are abused, who are battered, who are the last step they can take is going to court in fear, and the children are in danger, whatever, and that's real problems, right? And you use the time of the court for
I
your
know.
bullshit internet bullshit. Sorry, no, I
Yeah,
can't stand that.
no.
It's just bullshit.
Yeah,
Leave me alone with that.
bad
And it
news.
should be punished. I also said it should be punished, like $20,000 if you do
Oh
that
yeah,
for
you
no
should
reason.
absolutely have to pay
Yeah,
if it's frivolous.
yeah, really, it's
100%.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
This is great. We've totally changed your mind, Nina. I love it.
No, I didn't. I still feel bad for
Nina is
her.
relentless.
I'm just kidding. I'm messing with you.
No, I mean, I can see what she's doing,
Yeah.
and I feel she's accountable for it. But I also can see that it's coming from a very lonely place, and she's manipulated, and people are cheering to her who are the wrong people, and
You tried to tell her.
and trolling her, and she doesn't get it.
I
She just
know.
doesn't get it.
You tried though, Nina.
And
You did everything you could.
I tried.
And,
Yeah, I
and
tried.
you know what? And you've made me think. Earlier in this space, I said I feel bad for her. Then I said, well, I don't feel bad for her. But no, I agree. I actually can feel empathy for Marie because I do believe that she's being manipulated.
Very much.
It doesn't.
Yeah.
It doesn't change the calculus for me, though, in terms of thinking that she should be responsible for her behavior.
And it's not that I'm not the only one who told her that. I don't take credit for all of it, but there were many people who tried to tell her, and she just ignored it, and that's her responsibility. So yeah.
Do you know when I knew I'd never really particularly listened. I don't make it to a lot of spaces. I don't make it to a lot of YouTube live shows or whatever. But I was particularly impressed when you guys were doing things together in the beginning, where you had this policy that you weren't censoring anybody. Anybody could come. Anybody could talk about what they wanted to. It didn't matter
Yep.
what side you were on or not.
Right.
Like I found that to be very I really appreciated that.
I did too.
And for me,
And it
when I
was
really knew was when I tuned into a Sparkly space just offhand one day, and I found out after tuning in that the topic was me. Right, there was a lot of people in there that were yelling about me, and when I tried to come up and speak, and she wouldn't allow me to speak, or she wouldn't control the other speakers so that we could have a respectful dialogue.
Yeah.
That's when I knew all was lost with her,
Yeah.
and that was it. Like
Yeah.
it was over.
Yeah, me too.
She's
Because
anti-free speech.
everything she claimed to be committed to,
Yeah. When she let the trolls in and just talk shit about everyone and racist stuff, and
Yep.
then I wrote her, I'm out. I'm not doing that. We
Mhm.
can't do that. I mean, you can do that, but not with me. I'm out.
Right.
I'm like,
Right.
no, I don't do
Exactly.
that. If you go after people, no, I'm out. I don't do it. Stop. And
So I'm
then
going to hop off, by the way. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I did want to just leave you with one thought, which is if indeed what I had heard said earlier was true, that that Marie didn't think she was going to get the order, but that she, at a minimum, she was hoping that the judge would admonish
Yes.
Altman and Meredith.
She put that in
right?
writing.
So she put that in writing.
Yeah.
And if that doesn't just bother everybody who's taking the time to listen to this right now. I mean, that's not what courts are for. And you've got people flying up from North Carolina with presumably real issues, and make the trek to get up there and or defend themselves against allegations. You don't use the courts to send admonishments. And I dare say McNacho probably was expecting the same thing at a minimum yesterday as well. So people who are weaponizing the court system to advance these like little personal trifes they have with one another, or they don't know how to handle their feelings when they get butt hurt and punched back at. It's pathetic. I do reserve the right to pop back in and out of social media to comment on the hypocrisy of it all. And I choose to be respectful and to commune with people who have like minds about that. I'll respectfully listen to those who may disagree with that mentality or disagree with what caused the death of Officer John O'Keefe. But if people can't learn to start being human beings and to stop taking things and ideas to other people's real personal lives, where there are real consequences and real personal dangers and risks, then we have a bigger problem as a society. And as someone who's raising adolescent children or pre-adolescent children, that's what I care about. That I want a better environment of social media for my kids to be raised in. Or I'm going to take the time, or I'm going to take the time to help better educate my kids on that. But I wanted to thank everybody for letting Whack
That
Job
sounds
see up
anti-free
today.
speech.
Who's
Thanks,
Pretty
Dan.
talking?
anti-free speech. I'm just
Hey,
saying that's
one
anti-free speech.
last thing there, Nan, too. Like, we were just in this space talking earlier about the inefficiencies of the court system that already exist. You know what I mean? And so for me, if I am going with someone to court because they're a victim and I'm trying to help them through a situation or whatever else, it is, even if they get their day in court, sometimes you get there at 8 o'clock in the morning, you sit there, and then, your case may get called till after lunch, and then you get called after lunch, and now it's 3 o'clock, and these people have kids at home, and they have to make childcare arrangements, and they do all of this stuff. So it goes beyond just, it's really bogging down the entire court system for one person's like selfish need to see somebody else be punished. In the police accountability world, they say, you may be able to beat the rap, but you can't beat the ride. And it's just an awful thing to inconvenience, potentially hundreds of people every time you do this based on the court system and everything else, because you want to like score your point or get a judge to say, you yell at somebody. Horrible.
Yeah, my
Oh,
question would be: is there a can the judge like fine someone who's making false reports, or how does it work?
They can, but how deep are they going to hold an evidentiary hearing? Like, these are meant to be, you go in, you plead your case. They're supposed to last about maybe 30 minutes. You get through your stuff and you leave. And now the court's going to what? They're now going to extend it, hold an someone would have to be really vexatious in doing this over and over and over again to get that kind of attention from the court, who frankly just wants you to move on. Like, they don't want you to be there, so they don't spend a lot of time on it. You would have to be doing it in such a pervasive way that to get their attention enough to cause them to literally interrupt their schedules even more to address it,
So I'm gonna invite, I just added a couple more speakers, Boner Salad and Lala Nose. I just added as speakers. So speak away, my friends.
Yeah, what's up? I just want to take some time to talk about the obesity epidemic in America right now. If you look at Jeff Machado, she's a great example. It's out of control. And something needs to be done to stop this, or, health insurance costs are going to skyrocket, and people are going to continue to die. We can't keep having these people going through, Dunkin' Donuts drive-thrus 5 times in one day, and, getting these huge orders with all these sugary drinks. It has to stop. We have too many fats in America.
Boner, are you talking about my
My refreshers that I like to have once a day. Is that what you're talking about?
I'm talking about the 5 donuts that you get.
That I get?
Yes.
Listen, normally I'd be right behind you on this, but McDonald's just came back with their fried apple pie for a limited time, so get back to me in like 2 weeks.
Are you watching me go through my drive-through, seeing me get 5 donuts?
Well, Muchato streams it live every day when she goes through the fucking Dunkin' Donuts more than once. Gets a sugary ass drink and 5 donuts.
But you just said that was
Boner,
me.
Boner is a troll. He's a funny
Okay,
troll.
bye,
but he's a
Boner.
troll.
I'm not.
Thank you.
He is. He's a funny troll, but he's a troll.
I didn't know who he was, so I looked at his account and I was like, oh, maybe, but no, thank you.
Troll, I don't mind trolls. We're having a pretty serious conversation here.
Yeah,
though,
but
so.
yeah.
He's not a good
funny
troll.
but
Nina's
he's a troll.
right.
Yeah.
I don't know why I can't. I'm trying. Oh, there we go. I'm just adding a couple more people so we can kind of get other people's views on things.
I just want to know if in 2024 y'all all thought everyone would be talking on a Spaces right now.
Together.
It's
No.
wild.
I want to say something that nobody will believe. Nobody will believe because I see her here. Yesterday, we've been looking for a clip where Marie says, I'm not afraid of anybody. I'm not afraid of anybody. And it was to you, Lydia, when she was talking on Father's Day. And we were looking for that. And I opened my email and somebody, or my DMs, and somebody's sending it to me. And it's Kim Fair. So if anybody, if any two people can kind of come together and see what's right and see what's wrong and put the past behind you, and then if I think if Kim and I can do it,
anybody can do it.
I think anybody could do it.
Okay, Jen, but now that you're saying that, Kim, if you're listening, I had nothing to do with the Ducks in Hazard Avenue in Enfield. That was all Jen Alden. It is true.
That had nothing to do with me either. Somebody messaged me. Let's not talk. Listen, we're moving forward.
I didn't know till after the fact. That's all I want to say.
I don't see Meredith. She keeps dropping off.
Yeah, but we don't even. I didn't even know like that Lydia existed back then, or Earl, or I mean, I knew Kate from Turtle Boy, but I didn't know all these.
Okay, let's go back to the Ducks for a minute, okay? Let's just go back to the Ducks because I'm going to tell you right now. I am the most fucking gullible person in the world, okay? And that
was funny though. It was fun.
No, Jen, I will admit that was fucking hysterical. Okay, it really was. No, it was so bad. One of my brighter moments. Yeah, but I just yeah. But on a side note, I did I just went over to Sparkly's YouTube and I did record the poor thing dancing, and I don't know, guys. She's just,
it's a lot.
It is a lot. Like, she's getting up there with her sunglasses on, and I don't know. There's something really wrong there.
I mean,
well,
what
was
right?
she saying? What was the essence of her messaging? I will tell you. She basically got on and she looked wiped out, and she's like, guys, I'm just really tired. I just want to talk about good stuff. From what I heard, she didn't mention anything about today, but I didn't listen to the whole thing. And then she broke out into dancing, and yeah, that just gave me a chuckle. It made me laugh, but it also made me sad at the same time, because I really think there's something not quite right going on there. You know,
very sad. It's very sad.
I mean, my video is, I think if her family needed to get some sort of 5150 on her, I mean, that video itself is just,
I don't know. It's just something's not right. But anyway, yeah, that Hazard Road duck thing was it's pretty good. Pretty good. You got me good there, Jen. You got me good.
I
I'll
didn't do
admit it.
that. I didn't have anything to do with that. Somebody messaged me while I was on an airplane
Oh,
and told me they did that. I didn't have anything. I can't take credit.
Jen, I don't think we
It
even
was
ever
good though.
talked about it. I just heard it was you, and I did go.
No.
I happened to be
Mm-mm.
driving on 91 South from Massachusetts back into Connecticut, and I did stop in Enfield on Hazard Ave to go take a picture with the street sign because I thought it was so clever. I wanted to try and get some like residual credit for it, but I had
yeah.
nothing to do with it either.
It was.
No,
It
I
was.
would totally admit it now if it was me, but it wasn't.
Yeah. It was. It was quite clever. That was when all my DMs were open, and I had people coming in my DMs, trolls being like, "I've got information for you. Well, you know who Jason
Yeah.
Royals is." I mean, Haley Walbrecht, and I'm just like, okay, yep, okay.
I do.
Anyway,
I
good
like
times,
good
guys. Good
trolls.
times.
I like good trolls. I mean, trolls that are funny. Like I'm here for it. Like I
I
don't care if you're
agree.
trolling me or anybody else. Like we should all get a little more humor in our lives because honestly, we've all dealt with some really serious shit, and it's
Yep.
been a big bucket of shit. Just not just the case, not just the disagreements, but all of the surrounding stuff. Like I'm all for being done with that. Like to
Yeah.
me, amnesty for anyone. If I offended you, I apologize. Like I am. If you're not hurting anybody else, you're good with me. I have no problem.
I will say two things. Broyles, you were right about one thing that I will admit to, and that is Lindsay Catani is a cuckoo. Okay, that's
I
one thing.
agree.
I will give you that for sure. And oh my God, I'm 50 something years old. That's why I'm having a brain fart right now. I had something else to say, and I can't remember what it was. But anyway,
I don't know,
yeah.
Kim.
I remember what it was now. I remember what it was, and I'm not going to say her name. I'm not going to say her name.
I already know.
Okay, I know you know. Oh, that's my dog. Stop it. Oh my God. Sorry, guys.
Kim, the only thing I want to say to you is actually, you and I actually had some really good conversations, and I just want you to know that we had conversations about some commonalities with our kids and some other things, and I meant every single word I said in every one of those conversations. Just want you to know.
Yeah, and I know exactly the conversations you're talking about, and I agree. We did, and I kept thinking, God, if this person would just knock away. And here I am saying this now, but I was like, stop going after Lindsay Gattani, and now I'm just like, oh my God, I was really fooled with that one.
I'm never going to try and like rub that in anyone's face because look at how many of you were right about Aiden Carney. So I have nothing to I am completely humbled in that the truth is that there are bad people out there who like to manipulate people and we're all subject to potentially being fooled by that. So
I agree.
No hard feelings whatsoever.
Yep, same here. I mean, listen, like Jen said, if we can, if all people, if Jen and I can let it go, I think everybody else, it should be a little easier for you all to let it go.
Exactly.
But yeah,
I'm laughing so hard. That's so true.
And yeah, and I think, like I said, there's one person, and I won't bring up her name. You know who I'm talking about, Jason.
I sure do.
And we were all right about that one. I will tell you that we were all right about that one. We all at one point, either liked her or defended her, and then we all got a taste of that craziness.
Yes, so. I know. I still get those tastes daily.
Yeah,
and even when I don't look, my DMs are full every single day.
Yeah. Oh, really? Really?
Not from. I mean, I've blocked every way to Sunday, but.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Me too. I just that was one.
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yes. I'd rather say Voldemort.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I won't even say her name because it just starts it up again. And yeah. So anyway, I'm glad we can all be on one space and have some commonality here. And one of them is that I think we all can agree that Aiden Kearney is really a troubled person. And he's going to jail. Yes. Yes. All right, I'm going to jump down, but yeah, it's just nice to see everybody on here, agreeing.
Have a good night, Kim.
Yeah, you too.
Bye.
Hey, good luck, Jen, on your next when do you know when your next hearing will be?
No, I had to file a motion to see if I could get it on Zoom, and they wait 10 days, and then they'll bring it in front of a judge. I think it's going to be several weeks.
Yeah, well, you're up in New Hampshire, and they're a little different up there. They definitely do things different up there. It's live free or die, live free or die.
It is live free or die. But he did make sure to tell me there is no order in place. And if he felt like she was in danger,
Yeah.
he would have put an order in
Yeah.
place, at least until the next hearing, and he didn't do that. So
That's a good thing.
That's a
then.
good point.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, good luck.
Thanks.
That we're all
right.
rooting for you, because that was that was fucking ridiculous.
Wow.
She's got issues, big time.
He does.
All right, guys.
All right. Talk to you soon,
later.
Kim.
Yep. Bye-bye.
See ya.
Lala Nose came up. Lala, what do you want to say? Oh boy, nobody has anything to say.
There's always a little delay. If you just brought her up, she still shows listener for me, but there's always a little lag.
It's been a little while.
Lala has like kids. She's up.
Hi. I didn't actually even mean to be a speaker. Damn it. Elon has a vendetta against me. So I have nothing to say. I'm just listening to everyone. I'm really laughing at everything that's happening right now, because it's the most hypocritical, weird ass kind of, are we adults or what is happening? I don't know. I didn't even intend to be a speaker, so I can't hear anyone else.
Oh yeah, it's fine. I will say that I often do look at some of the stuff that happens, and perspective is a wonderful thing when you sit back for a couple days and don't tweet. And it does seem like the whole world is filled with cartoon characters in real life here. So sometimes you do look at this stuff and you're like, what the hell? I'll say, what the hell are we doing? You know what I mean? Or what are some of these people doing? And you look at this and you just start to say, just moments like today in court, there's real people with real problems in the world. And if every one of us could maybe take a minute, if every one of us could take a minute and take a sliver of the time that we spend going after people online and just do something to help one person or two people or a nonprofit in your community, or do things like that. I don't even care if you stop being a jerk online, but find some balance and do something good for society or for another person, or I think that's the message. I think everyone, as you start to do that, you realize that you can get this parasocial fix that you need, that people are getting off of these attention from the battles and the internet. You could find a way to do that while also doing some good. That would be really nice if everyone tried that.
That sounds lovely, but I don't think that will ever happen, because
yes, I think like Nina, I think now I'm the idealist here as well. I agree with you.
Yeah, it would be an ideal. Everyone would be going, yeah, it's just Twitter, it's just internet, but it's really not, because, and I did that in the comment, Meredith and Jen had to go and take a day off work and prepare all weekend. Instead of going out and enjoying the weekend, they have to prepare to go to court with sparkly, weird ass rabbit, right? That's just mental to me. And I think that a lot of us are watching this thinking, karma keeps winning. It just does, right? I get nervous when I'm talking in spaces, but this is how I feel. And I just can't wait for the audio, for Meredith, who should have been a lawyer, could be a lawyer.
I told her a
Uh,
number of times today alone.
I don't know if people can hear me because I can't hear me, and I can only hear you, Jason.
We can hear you.
Oh, well, that's
Oh,
weird.
good. Oh, hi, Lydia.
Hey, how are you?
So it's like watching the most mental reality show, but I myself feel like I only know like a quarter of what's going on. Like most of the time, I have no clue. Like people are arguing with each other, and I'm like, oh, what happened there? And it's just a wee bit like crazy, but I get the gist. Like I know the main players.
I did post the other day that it is a lot like Survivor or Big Brother, just without a prize at the end, because that is what this feels like.
Yeah, what do we get at the end of this?
There's
But
no prize
it's
at the end. The only
comical.
prize is if you come to your senses and say, "Why am I doing this?" Right? But I will say
Do you
you're
not
right.
think that it got? Do you
Go
not
ahead.
think it's got to a stage where it's comical? It's now comical. Everything
It's so it is and it isn't, right? And when you were saying like Holly that was up here speaking earlier, and I seem to have the occasion to keep ending up in the same court audiences, and we had a conversation about this where like even the attitude of the courts, they say like, oh, it's just social media, but it's not. But this is really
Yeah,
it does affect people's real lives,
exactly.
and it's coming into and
Well, do you
I
know
wish it were
what?
just social media. People should keep it that way.
I will say this one thing that I've always felt from very young age. You have a reputation, right? And your reputation is the one thing that carries you through life. So if some fucker comes in and tries to ruin your reputation through lies or whatever, then I mean go at that person because that's your reputation. Because that's the one thing we have. We have our family, we have our friends, but our reputation is like, I don't know, it's kind of like your soul or a light part of your soul, you know? And what we've watched and what I've witnessed is Aidan Carney ruin people's reputation for kicks, giggles, views, clicks, money, monetary gain. He does not care. I get so emotional about this. And this is like a kind of spider, like sensey thing out of this is like other people are being affected by this. So I can't talk anymore. My son has got up, so I have to go. Good night, everyone.
Thank you so much. Thanks for coming up.
Bye, Lala.
I
Hey,
love her.
friends.
I love Lala. She's so amazing.
Hey, friends.
Hey, Earl.
Hey, that was amazing.
Hi, Earl.
Hey, Jason. I am like living in another land right now with all of the people that have come together in this space. Like, who would have ever thought? I mean, I am a Christian and I pray, but my gosh, this is like a freaking miracle.
Don't
And I
cry.
just,
Don't cry, Earl. Don't
I
cry.
might cry, Nina. You know me so well. I just have to shout out Jen and Andy right now because they just showed that forgiveness is something that everyone can do. And they just showed what adults actually behave like. And I am just astonished at the bravery and the humility of both of you at this moment. And can I also just say one other thing? I whether or not you believe that Karen Reed killed Officer O'Keefe, I think that we all need to acknowledge that the McAlberts, ha ha ha, the McCabe's, Alberts, Brian Higgins, they are actually victims in all of this. And so if we could join together to support them because we don't want what Aiden Carney has done to them to become the standard for how to do things outside of a courtroom in any case in America. That's a threat to our system of justice. And you can't invoke vigilante justice just because you think something is true. That is completely against our beliefs as Americans. I mean, why even have a government if we're going to start doing that and condoning it? So that's
I
my
agree. Earl, I agree with that 100%. And you have a scenario where I can see, like, I'm a father, right? I have daughters and people have kids. If someone does something to your kids, and not that I'm suggesting people should do this, but if someone does something to your kids and that drives you to do something in return, and you can go in and plead temporary insanity or whatever else, that's one thing. But when you're doing things on behalf for literally because they're for your own personal gain. One of the big problems, and again, we see with Jabril and everything else, is that Aiden Carney isn't the arbiter of what's true or not. He doesn't, everything is pretty much handed to him. He doesn't do any research. There are several cases where he says things that he knows are untrue. He is someone with a God complex who wants to be able to control the story, regardless of what's true or not. And so I see him as being a huge danger. In terms of your other thing about the Alberts and the McCabe's, we can disagree about all kinds of things regarding what people did or didn't do. And I'm not talking about murder or not murder, but I just mean how people acted and whether they drew criticism upon themselves or whatever else. My position in this case, you can't take the position that you say that Karen Reed didn't kill Officer John O'Keefe and that no matter where you fall on that spectrum, say that they did a poor investigation, there was all these problems with it or whatever else, and then just go and declare somebody else a murderer. If they didn't do an investigation and Karen Reed can't be called a murderer or have been convicted of it, I don't think she did it, but others do. If you can't go, we can't make one argument and say they never properly investigated it, and then look at the other side of this coin and be like, they're murderers. That's ridiculous. It's always been ridiculous. And I've never stood for that prospect, and nobody else should either. And so I will give you that.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Can I ask a question? Sorry. Gailey. If
It's only Gailey till the end of June.
I know
It's Pride
it's
Month,
June.
but go ahead.
It's June. I know it's Pride June. I know. Jason. Okay. Because I'm the outsider, I get attacked from all sides. I don't care. But I have a question. If there's a car accident in New York City, right? Let's say, I don't know in New York, any streets, many houses, and someone is lying in front of a house, and it's called a car accident, and the person who drove the car said, it's my responsibility, I hit him, or I hit her, whatever. Is it normal that the police go into the houses?
So here's what I'll say about that. Here's what I'll say about that.
I would say no, because it's
Well,
treated because it's treated like an accident, because you have a car, you have a person, and you have someone saying, I hit him. And would you what's the wrong investigation?
Well, this is really hard to do, right? Because these hypotheticals, because every situation is different, and every jurisdiction acts differently. Even in the same department, one police officer handles the other way.
Is it normal that when someone's saying, it's my responsibility, I did that, and she did, and she said that.
Well, but so that's a disputed fact, right? So
Not
there's a
really,
dispute
actually.
between well, there's a dispute between whether she said I
Yeah,
hit
that's
him
Ellen
or did I
Chester.
hit him,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. But it's
Right. So, but
actually
I'm just
not
saying
really
it.
disputed.
We're all looking at
Oh,
this
I
from the
must
outside,
speak up
and
here. I must speak up here, Jason. There is not a
yeah,
dispute
go ahead.
because Karen Reed herself said in one of her interviews,
Yeah.
and I quote, "I know I said I hit him. I know I said I hit him, but did I really say it as many times as law enforcement is saying that I did?" So it's not disputed. Believe Karen. Hashtag believe Karen.
Here's what I'm going to say, and I'm gonna try and talk about this as unemotionally as possible,
No,
right?
my question is,
So
would they go into every house there, or into the house where the accident happened? Would they do that?
there's a whole long list of things from and I could even say like the leaf blower thing, all this other stuff. Like they did the best they could with what they had, right? We could look at this. There's no excuse for not securing the crime scene, none. Even if it was an accident,
But it
there's no
wasn't a
excuse
crime
for
scene.
not
It was an
securing.
accident.
Well, no, but it's still there. You have so you don't know if it's a crime scene or not, right? Because you have a deceased male that's found on a lawn.
Yeah, and
That's
she
what you
said I hit
encounter
him.
when you're the police officer. So you're the police officer. You show up. You encounter a deceased male on the lawn. Now
For
you
every
may
car
know.
accident, you do that.
I'm not gonna. Right, and for every car accident, they shut whole highways down in New York.
I
Like
don't
if you've
know.
ever been on
That's why I'm
95,
asking.
they
You
they
do a
do it for
crime
accident
scene thing.
investigation. It depends on the circumstances, but generally, if there's a death and it's on scene and on site, yes, they'll at least close lanes. They'll do.
Okay.
Someone has to come out. They have to take measurements. They do reenactments. They do all the
Okay.
stuff that we
Okay.
kind of saw partially done here, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is when there's several. I've watched every side's argument, right? So there's several arguments. Some people say they didn't do a thorough investigation because they messed up. They used the leaf blower. They didn't secure the crime scene. Other people say that they got tunnel vision. But do you know how common it? And I'm not arguing. I'm not going to argue either side of this. I'm going to argue every point that I can make. It's actually common for people involved in a car accident or in a traumatic experience or whatever else to somehow find blame for something and say, I did this. Did I do this? I hit him. Maybe she did. Maybe she hit him and she came out and said it to the police. But every side is going to present this argument in a way that just tries to prove their point. And so the whole point of doing competent investigations, whether it be in death or anything else, is to not take anything for granted. And that includes when people say, I did something, because this happens all the time in investigations where people come out and say, I did this. And then the evidence later comes out, or you see DNA. Let's
No,
just talk about a
that's
straight murder
not
case.
common. Sorry, that's not common.
What's that?
That
But
it's
no,
not common that someone
I'm not
says
saying it happens 50% of the time,
I
right?
did it,
But
and
I'm
then they
saying
said no, you didn't do it. That's not
there
common.
are tons of notable cases where people came out and said that they did something. How about this? Let's say Karen Reed, everyone likes to say how drunk she was, right? There are a whole line of cases where somebody was drunk, somebody ended up dead, and the drunk person said, I did it, because they don't
Yeah.
have a memory of it, and their brain puts together the fact that they did it. And then later on you find out, oh, they were passed out, they weren't there, somebody else did it, and DNA exonerates people years later.
Okay.
What I'm
Okay.
saying is,
Yeah, I get. Yeah. Okay, I understand.
we can't, the hypotheticals don't really work. But the truth is what the investigators are supposed to do. It doesn't matter if someone shows up and says, I did this. This is why in cases where that actually happens, you see they won't make an arrest for 6 months, because what they have to do is they have to actually go in and prove it regardless of what someone
Yeah, that's
says,
true.
regardless of
Yeah,
that.
that's
So
true.
that there is all of this thing, and and people who believe that she didn't do it are going to hang on the point that, well, maybe she said, did I hit him? And people who believe that she did it are saying, no, she admitted it. And we can argue about this all day long, but the point of doing these competent investigatory steps, and let's face it,
But her own
it's hard to
lawyer. I
have
mean,
it's
Janetti at
it's
the
hard to have confidence. Well, no, that's another thing. So this
her
preliminary
own
hearing
lawyer
where
said it was an accident, and
but
she hit him.
you're but this is at a preliminary hearing where you're cherry
Yes,
picking things.
and
Where
then
he's saying
he messed
at
up.
worst it was a bad, but it wasn't a mess up. It's only a mess up. It wasn't a mess up in court. It's only a mess up because of the intense public attention this case has gotten,
It
where
was a
people go
bail.
back.
I think it was the bail hearing, right?
I think it was after maybe it was after they upgraded the charges. I think that's when it was.
No,
Don't count. I'm the worst
It was
with
the
it.
first or the second. It was the bail. It was either the
Great. So you
arraignment.
have a lawyer who just took a case and he's going in and making a point that even
Yeah.
they aren't saying that she intentionally did this, and at worst case it was an accident. And then later people seize on those words. There's a reason that stuff didn't come up in court. That's the court of public opinion stuff, right?
Yeah.
And we all get to weigh in on it.
But
But
he messed up
that
there.
I don't think so, because the bottom line is his purpose was making a statement in court for the purposes of a bail hearing and saying that I don't think anyone is alleging that this could be anything more than an accident. He's not saying he
Okay.
knows what happened.
Okay.
He's just saying that for the purposes of getting bail, no one's saying that she intentionally struck and killed John O'Keefe. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah.
But
And
I don't want anyone to get emotional about this, because I am not.
No,
I'm
no,
arguing
it's okay.
hypotheticals. I'm
It's
not
okay.
making
Yeah. We don't have
points
to
about
talk
this
about
case.
that.
Jason,
Yeah.
now that we have a free Karen Reed here, so let me ask, now that we've had a chance to talk to you guys, how do you explain the text stream data?
I still don't get that. Can
Right, there's nothing to
someone
not get.
can
She's
someone
backed up.
make a comic for me, please?
Yep. She pulled up in front of 34 Fairview. She went forward, I believe it was like 13 feet. That part I don't know off the top of my head. She pressed the gas pedal down, 75% throttle, almost to the floor, 24 miles an hour backwards. At the same exact time, John's phone never moved again. I want somebody on Free Karen Reed to explain the text stream data. How do you explain that away?
Well, I'm gonna take this over a second, but I just want to throw out there that I'm actually not interested in relitigating the Karen Reed case, in the sense that Karen Reed has been acquitted; she'll never be charged with murder again. It's not really helpful, but for the purposes of the fact that you're talking about it now, what I'll say is that the text stream data also relies heavily on interpreting the key cycle data the same way that one side's expert says you should. And if you interpret it a different way, then that 75% throttle event and everything else could have happened at an entirely different time in an entirely different location.
No, it completely matches up to John's ways. It matches to his GPS. It matches to his ways. It matches to his cell phone data. It didn't happen another time. If you match it all together, there is no other time. So everybody's everybody's argument would be, oh, it was when it went onto the back of the tow truck. Have you ever tried to back a car 24 miles an hour onto the back of a flatbed?
No, other people's argument is that it happened in the Canton Police Department parking lot. Like, that's the problem. This is the problem.
But it didn't
is
match
that
John's phone. It matches John's phone.
they're
It matches John's
but
phone. There's no way.
but you're kind of doing you're kind of doing what I said earlier, which is you're taking the interpretation that's most helpful to your presupposed argument,
The
right?
data's the
So
data.
you have this
Karen Reed, the
the
data's
the
the data.
data
What expert did the
the
defense put on
the
what expert did the defense put on the stand to refute that data?
But that's another problem, right? Because what you're doing is you're taking someone's trial strategy, and if they didn't feel that they needed to put an expert on, which is clear they didn't, right? Because they got an
No, they had a
acquittal.
tainted
If they
jury,
didn't,
so that's a whole other
if they,
ballgame. But go ahead.
but I also think that that's like, this is the problem, as we start to get into these kind of conspiracy theories. I'm not saying the text stream data is a conspiracy theory, right? But I'm saying when we're dealing with the interpretation of it, even in court, let's take all of us like watchers out of this, right? We're looking with a 12,000 foot view of something that already happened. Let's take us out of this and just go in court. Both sides in court are going to present, because they both want to win. Let's face it. This isn't about one side wants to exonerate their client. The other side wants to see the conviction. It's the way our court system has worked forever. It almost seems like we get to a point to where in court, they're less interested about the truth than anywhere else. They're just more interested in proving the case that they've developed. And so you get into this situation where just because they didn't put a competing expert on the stand in trial 2 that went into detail into these things, that's trial strategy. Their goal is to seek an acquittal, and they got an acquittal, right? So
Hey guys, can I just say one thing? We we have been begging for a respectful discussion of this case between the two sides, and I'm really enjoying how respectful this is. So
Yeah,
there's,
yeah,
yeah,
nobody. Yeah, I think Jason had it right when he said it a little while ago, and so did Kim and Jen. We're past that, right? I mean,
Yep.
we look at it this way. You guys, quote unquote, you won, right? You freed your queen. She got off. Blah blah blah. And we hope.
I don't look at it. I don't look at it that way, by the way. But go ahead.
Well, I'll disagree with that. But anyway, I guess I just like we're trying to have a respect because we cannot wrap our heads around how you guys cannot take all. There is more evidence against Karen Reed than there was freaking Casey Anthony, Scott Peterson, or O.J. Simpson combined. Combined. I can't even wrap my brain around it.
And
I mean,
OP, what I thought really like interesting was Arca did the experiment with the dummy, right?
yeah,
And he made the pirouette and everything, and the taillight cracked.
I know. And they'll tell you that the
It
taillight
was
can't
her
crack on
own.
an elbow, and the
It,
defense actually showed us it could.
yeah, it was
It's
Arca.
mind-boggling.
It was the
Yeah.
Arca, the
Arca,
Arca
our
video.
TechStream, Arca, our Toyota and Lexus TechStream experts. That is their
Here,
expertise, and they still didn't give
here's
them that data.
here's where I think the problem is, right? I think the problem lies in the fact that trial science is not science, right? Because both sides, again, just like we do, like we tend to do here in these conversations, both sides are trying to, they're not trying to find the truth of the situation. They're trying to find the best evidence that lines up with their theory of the crime or their narrative that they've come out with. What we would need, and it would I would support someone doing this. What we would need is we would need like now the trial's over. This would be the time for it. We'd need like a major research university that handles all of these different areas of science to take this now, not connected to the trial, not connected to the defense or to the prosecution, and to re-examine this case from
No,
scratch. I
actually, we
would
don't.
support someone doing
But
that.
see, like on this side, we don't because it's like, if you guys could, you're a smart guy. I'm not even gonna take that away from you. Like it shocks me, to be honest with you, that some people on your side with the level of brains that you have, like you're not a dummy. I mean, there's certainly accounts on there that are dumber than bags of rocks, and you can tell which ones are smart and
For
which ones
sure.
are not. And how I can almost even get behind you guys when you say, you don't think the investigation was done properly, she should have walked, or Proctor is a racist, she should have walked, or biased, whatever. I'd be
But it's why I also won't call, but
no, like I would
just to
have more.
follow
I
that
guess
thought
I'd
through.
have more respect for that.
It's why I won't call the McAlberts murderers, right?
Correct. Yep.
Because I take the same position, which is where was the investigation done? I think that there was a failure of the state in both sides of this.
Yeah.
Both sides should be
And
mad
you
at
know
the
what is
state.
really
Jason,
upsetting?
can
You
we
know what's really sad is that nobody was able to say that a year or two ago.
Yes.
That's the saddest part of the
Yes,
can
whole
I
we
agree.
entire thing.
can we put McAlberts and 5150
Yeah.
in the same
Yeah,
category
let's
and
put it away.
stop
Yeah.
saying
I would
that?
love
Yeah,
that.
put
Can
it
we
away.
stop that?
I concur with that 100%.
Thank
It's
you.
become just kind of like the shorthand way, but I agree
I
with you
Yep.
appreciate
100% that
it.
it's
It's
not.
a way to
I
dehumanize
appreciate it.
them
Thank you.
the same way you try to dehumanize Meredith. It's just a way to
Yeah.
dehumanize
Thank
them.
you.
I agree,
Let's
and
just not
it's
do it.
Yep.
Just call the
and I
people the names.
just want to say that's not how I meant it. So I hope
I
that you
know. I
understand that.
understand, but it's a reflex and I just like it to leave the lore.
Perfect. Agreed,
Let's
Lydia.
not
I
do
will.
it to Meredith. Let's not do it to them. Let's just not do it.
I couldn't agree more.
Thank you.
I will do my best to be conscious of to take some care and trying not to do
I
that.
appreciate that very much.
Um,
Thank you.
Thank you.
no problem. But my point is, my overall point is the fact is that once you get both sides kind of dug in, and I'm not even talking about the public, I'm talking about the prosecution and the defense, it becomes a matter of lawyers don't like to lose. Lawyers don't like to, people's whole political careers and reputations are staked on it and everything else. I'm saying that I don't trust the interpretation of either side or the experts that either side's hire, because the fact is at the end of the day, these people actually are experts hired to try and prove a specific point of view,
But,
and
but
it
Jason,
happens in every case, every time.
Jason, it's Earl.
Go ahead. Hi,
Respectfully,
Earl. I'm
hey,
listening.
we don't need experts when we can look at the dash cam wellness check
Dylan, the light
combined
is broken.
combined with Officer Barrow's testimony that it is what it looked like in Dighton. We don't need any experts. We can see with our own
We
eyes.
just need Karen.
Yeah,
We just
but
need
this is
Karen.
actually a great this is actually a great example because you have both sides of this argument will point to Officer Barros as their hero in the testimony that he gave because people will pick out the part that benefits their side the most and they'll seize on the one phrase that he said here where he said, yes, that's what it looked like. And
No, no,
then
no, no, no,
the other
Jason.
phrase,
Only one side, with all due respect, only one side listened to the whole testimony,
Yeah, he
which
admits
is
it
which is
exactly what he saw. He admits it.
but
Yeah.
he never, like, the rest of his testimony negates the part that the free Karen Reed side likes to latch onto. So no, I don't give you that point.
And I think it's funny too that those of us that used to think Karen was innocent, I'm one of them in the beginning. I mean, there was a time I thought that this whole thing was what it was. I think is on here, non-expert. She's with me. Like we were believers. We were believers. I mean, Jesus, let's take John Altman. I mean, my God, talk about somebody who's done, did some research on her own and blocked it out. It's like you have to step away from it, and I
Well,
think
and
that's what Jen did. She stepped back.
can I also say that this is another talking point that is coming from Karen's supporters? I see it all in the chat, and it is, why are we relitigating the case? It's over. No, it's
No,
not
it's not over.
over.
No, it's
We
not.
are still fighting for the reputation of the innocent people like Colin Albert,
Ugh.
who have had their lives absolutely destroyed by these lies. It is not
It's not
over.
over. We still have wrongful death to go, and like you said, I mean, and then the whole
Exactly.
defamation.
listen,
So
I just want to let me just clear that up in terms of my reference to saying it's over. I am talking about
Oh no, I
the
get that. No,
we
we understand
foreclosed
that.
the Karen Reed
Yeah,
the Karen Reed trial is over, right?
yeah,
We foreclosed the possibility of Karen Reed being charged with the death of John O'Keefe criminally. Like
correct.
civilly, everyone's going to have the right to come in and present evidence again. And frankly, some of the answers that we seek may come out during that. And in the testimony that you guys are pointing to that you're saying is the strongest in your side, that's going to have all of that's going to have a chance to be heard again, frankly. And so that I don't find that to be a net negative, right?
Hey
So I think that that's
guys.
good.
Hey,
Hi,
it's
go ahead.
Tuesday. Hi. First of all, I
Hi,
just wanted
Tuesday.
to
I saw you hanging out down there. I brought you up.
Hi,
thank you so
Tuesday.
much. Hi guys. I don't I first of all, I'm like so appreciative of this civil conversation. And I don't even know if we really even want to continue down this route of conversation, but I did want to say that I do agree that there are certain points that people can see from different angles and have a different perspective. When you really sit down and you analyze the text stream data, that is not one of them. There's only one way to look at it, and even the defense had an expert get up, and the only thing that they could argue was a matter of seconds and the time variance. But the reason why I have such a strong grasp on this is because during the trial, I sat and I listened to the testimony each day, but I also did the transcription and then I rewrote the summary of the testimony. So I really sat down and analyzed. And for those that really want to understand the text stream data, like just feel free to reach out to me. I know Truth understands it as well, but it is definitely and we actually try to reverse the table and be like, okay, let's try and debunk this. And we try to go through and you can't get through that text stream data. But for anyone that is interested and does maybe want to understand it more, feel free to reach out to me. and I can kind of point you in the direction. But I just wanted to put that out there. I do appreciate value, everyone has their own opinions and stuff, but I feel very passionate about the tech stream data.
Well, like I was just saying, I appreciate that, and like I was just saying, I firmly believe that this second civil case, and obviously the rules of evidence are different, and there is the opportunity for more discovery, and I'm sure experts are going to play a large role in this in the civil wrongful death suit, and we have all of these things that are happening. So I'm all for people getting answers to these questions, and for those of you that it's not a question, I'm all for your side being aired out. And I think that everyone, regardless of where you stood in the position of this case, should keep an open mind, because the bottom line is in our system of justice, we do have a situation where innocent people get convicted of crimes and guilty people go free and all kinds of things happen. And I do think that what happens in these cases is the problem is this is what I was trying to bring up, is when we get the emotional aspect involved, and that certainly wasn't helped by outside agitators like Aidan Carney, right? When we get these emotional arguments involved where people are, it's human nature. You get dug into a position, you get these emotional arguments that they're not necessarily all backed up by logic. And in your case, you guys are saying we have this tech stream data that is irrefutable, and you have all of this, but it's hard to get people to relook and evaluate and come and do that. And I hope the civil trial plays a role in that, because the bottom line is at the end of the day, I've never wanted anything other than an honest airing of the truth. And I think sometimes the criminal justice system gets in the way of that, frankly,
So
because the politics and everything else, and
I want to,
competing experts, and the desire to win rather than the desire to find the truth and prove the truth,
I want to
Does anybody
encourage
know if
everybody to watch, like I did, the forensic room, and listen. Go in a quiet space by yourself. Take away all the outside noise. Pretend you know nothing, and listen to these ladies talk about the case. They don't yell. They don't scream. They don't say names. They have a way of explaining it. Now, listen, I have decided myself that I'm not going to give an opinion on the wrongful death part of John O'Keefe's death, but I am going to get involved in the harassment of the witnesses, because I never believed that they were murderers. I never believed he went in the house. And, I don't know what happened to John. None of us do. But I really think everybody should just go in a quiet room, have a cup of tea, and just watch these ladies. I'm not saying that so you'll change your mind. I'm saying it so you'll see it from an other perspective other than Aidan Carney screaming, and all the things that he does. Just do it. And if you still have the same opinion, great. But that's all I ask. I'm going to go on mute now for the rest of the night. I'm still listening, but I just wanted to say that.
Jen, I just want to
Thank
address
you,
what you
Jen.
said there too, which is I actually, one of the things, and it's been why I've been able to, despite battling heavily at times with people on the other side, it's also why I've still been able to maintain plenty of respectful relationships with people on the other side of this case. And it is because I respect people who stand up for what they believe in, including those that I disagree with, because that's the thing for me. It's the most offensive thing for me about Aidan Carney, which is I don't think he factors in what he believes. He factors in what story he wants to tell. It's more of a God complex. I want to control the narrative versus I respect people who stand up for what they believe in.
But then
And
I have a
I think,
question. Then I have a
go ahead.
question. You knew, or Aidan or Turtle Boy. You were his friend. Do you think?
I think that's a little bit of a strong statement.
Okay,
But go ahead.
but you knew him, and you
Sure.
interacted with him. So do you think he's the kind of person that really vetted things and make sure it was true or not,
No,
and seeking both sides of the story, or
no.
do you think that what what's alleged, that Karen Reed just t- told him everything, and he just published it without even vetted it or checked it.
Here's what I'll say, and I don't think it was just Karen Reed feeding him information. I think that it was more than that, and other people and other things, right? So I'm not trying to make a statement about the validity of the cases against them and the civil cases that are going on.
No,
But I will say,
but how
as
he
a
works,
general,
how he works.
but I will say as a general rule, I believe that he does very little to vet anything. I believe that he forms an opinion that he thinks will be most beneficial to him, which in a lot of the
Right.
circumstances is subject to change on a whim. If he thinks changing it will benefit him, I think it's more, again, about him having a God complex and wanting to control the narrative without any relation to whether what the side he's advocating for is correct or not. So
And
he
did you
doesn't.
call
He
him
gets.
out for that anytime?
I mean, I call him out for that all the time. This is a belief that I've come to. It's not the belief that I had. I'm very open about where I've always known that Aiden Carney is an asshole, right? Like I have no problem saying that. It's 100% factual. In fact, I said, if the tweets are still up, if you go back and you look, I said I had a lot of choice words for him prior to deciding that it was really the whole Lindsay Gaetani thing that made me start to be like, wait a minute, something's wrong. I have one other problem too, which if I'm going to be fair, I'm not going to just knock him, which is when he started making allegations about corruption in the Norfolk County District Attorney's Office State Police Detachment, they should have recused themselves from investigating him for the witness intimidation or anything else. They should have handed it off to a separate state police unit. And this is not my belief in the validity of his allegations or theirs against him or anything else. It's simply improper, and they've created this conflict of interest that then pursuing him and going forward and getting involved with Lindsay just added to that conflict of interest. From if I were, let's say I were on the opposite side of this and I were the DA that was ultimately going to have to prosecute him for witness intimidation charges or anything else, I would have gotten those police officers that prior to them pursuing him, he had been making public allegations about them being corrupt. I would have gotten them as far away from his case as possible to eliminate his attorney's ability to then point back at that and say, oh, there's this conflict of interest. They were coming to get him because he was coming for them. And so I think that's a failure in their case. And I think it might be a fatal flaw. I hope it's not. But that to me is actually a bigger issue than any of these other things or the believability of every claim of conspiracy or Kate Peter did this. Guess what? There's always going to be a Kate Peter, right? There's always going to be somebody who's opposing somebody who's trying to offer helpful information. And I'm not blaming her, right? So she sees something that I couldn't see at the time. And she uses that to say like, oh, I was associated. There's one area where Kate Peter and where I actually relate to her, which is Kate Peter worked with Aiden Carney. And Kate Peter wrote blogs about people that weren't so nice, right? And she did this and she had these things after the fact. She goes back and says like, oh, this person said this. And I think there was a situation with them where she actually took a blog of his down without permission because she felt for the person and had these things that are happening. Now, Kate Peter, and I think she'll be the first to admit that at times she got obsessive about it. Now she will say that she feels this kind of like personal sense of responsibility to speak up and to say things. And that's where I'm at because I didn't know what I know about Aiden Carney the whole time that I was advocating for him. And frankly, I never tried to stop people who had legitimate claims against him from their own personal experience from speaking. Like for me, it was about.
And you never thought that's a weird feud.
I never thought what?
That he's a jerk or whatever.
No, I thought he was a jerk, but to me, it didn't matter if he was a jerk, right? I don't care so much about someone who's an asshole. I don't care about the mean words outside the context of witness intimidation. I don't care about I think it's reprehensible. I don't think that anyone under any circumstances should call a murder victim's mother a cunt. I think that's horrible. And
Yeah,
I
but he
think
did that
I
all the time.
agree. I agree that he did that. And I think that from every perspective, from a public look at what doing that did, by the way, you can trace back the single decision of him to call Mrs. O'Keefe a cunt to the reason that he was no longer going on court TV, to the reason that he was no longer invited on these national platforms and all these things that were happening, because he made him so. So I have always made this argument to him, like, you're a moron. You're not doing yourself any favors. Like, people think that I was never a turtle rider. I was never someone that would fawn over Aiden when I spoke to him or whatever else. The majority of our conversations started with me saying, what the fuck is wrong with you? Because to me, I was giving him the best honest advice that I could. And I had a policy, you can go back and find these tweets, that there was Kate, there was a million people out there that were mostly on your side that were out there calling Aiden Carney out. I just didn't feel like it was necessary for me to call him out while I was simultaneously advocating for him because of the problems that I saw in how the investigation into him was handled, including the Lindsay stuff and the Mello being on the phone and the state police unit investigating him already having been accused of corruption by him. So
Hey,
Is there
Jason,
any chance?
Jason.
Is there any chance that Lindsay was right?
no,
No,
nope, there's no
no,
chance. And I think that people on both sides of this case now will, I mean, the turtle riders will tell you Lindsay's wonderful right now, but I do think that I'm probably going to release this at one point, but I actually have all of the conversations between, I don't know if it's all of them, but I have a large number of the conversations between Aiden, Carney, and Frankie. I have a ton of communications where Aiden was feeding me information, pushing me to go after her in terms of the fact. And then I did research. The truth is that Lindsay Gaetani is someone who, much like we saw today with Marie, who manipulates the court system to her advantage.
I get that.
She was fighting
I
her
get that.
parents to prevent them from seeing her kids, and so she wrote affidavits for the fathers of her kids to have them sign, but she wrote the affidavits and they just signed them because she asked them to. And I've proven that pretty not only with an analysis of the documents themselves,
I'm
but
not talking about
but
that.
they've told me. So I'm just telling you, I believe that Lindsay Gaetani and Aiden Carney are very much alike.
Yeah, I agree. I agree, actually. But
Now, you could have asked
Wait,
me.
Jason,
my
let me ask you a
question
question.
would be,
Jason,
Yeah, go
my
ahead.
question would be,
so
is
when
it
you were
okay?
saying that
Hang on a minute, we'll get back to you. Go ahead.
I don't overly disagree with your point about maybe somebody else should have been investigating Aiden because he was calling out them publicly, like that, the MSP or whatever. However, wouldn't that become a strategy for anybody in the future if that was the case? So if I'm gonna be investigated for something, then I'm just gonna go pull a YouTube channel and get people and start calling out the cops so that they can go off of my case. That would just become a strategy.
Exactly.
Listen, I agree with this
Exactly,
point.
OP. So Jason,
No, I agree with
I
this
want to
point.
add on to that.
The problem
Wait,
is
I
that
want to add on.
he was
Wait,
calling them out publicly before it became known that even to him, that he was being investigated. And I think it may have even predated the witness intimidation investigation. So
What do you mean? Like, so he was
well,
calling them
hey,
out during
and
the
Jason,
Karen Reed case. It's all intertwined. So I don't think you can really say that. It's all intertwined.
no, it is
I mean, you're talking
it's
about
inter.
you're
You
also talking about a guy that was, had an in at the U.S. District Attorney's Office. I mean, this all goes back to Chow and Rollins, and so who's going to investigate him? What are we going to do? Call in the Connecticut State Police?
So here's the thing, right? Like, I'm not suggesting. I'm talking about someone needs to really look at the timing of this as to when he started writing about that state police unit versus the initiation of the witness intimidation investigation, because I'm not suggesting that people should use this as a strategy. What I am suggesting there are other units of the state police that easily could have picked up they could have handed it to a name for this attorney's office attachment. They have other units within the state police that could have actually done the entire investigation. I'm suggesting that the resources were there, and I, with the lens of a prosecutor, would have insisted that that happened. Not that I'm saying they knew,
You don't think the federal
because
government's
Hey,
investigating him?
Jason, OP, can I just insert one thing right
Go
here?
ahead,
So
Earl.
this is
yeah, go
for
ahead.
this is for Jason. So Jason, if just accusing the police of corruption merits a recusal, wouldn't that give anyone investigated or charged with a crime an easy outlet
Well, I think
to
you're
like
mistaking.
kill any charges or investigation just by like logging onto social media and making crazy claims?
No, because I think you're mistaking what I'm actually saying. What I'm saying, from what I can see, what occurred is that he was publicly accusing them of corruption prior to them investigating him for witness intimidation. So that the investigation came after the fact that he was doing it, which doesn't give any merit to either him being guilty of witness intimidation or not. What it does is it creates this appearance of conflict. Now, if I were being investigated by the Mass State Police, which I've been told that I was, if I were being investigated by the Mass State Police unit, and then they started questioning people, they started questioning me, and then I started writing stories about them, that should
Okay,
get no ground.
So even if the accusations that he made predate the investigation, why does that matter? That's not a real conflict.
Of course it's a conflict, because because the investigators should be neutral parties who don't have an outcome in now remember, like, let's look at what's happening with Proctor now,
They're
right?
they're cops. Like, of course that's
They
kind
have
of a ludicrous way of saying it. It's like saying, if the tax guy is going to come after me because I didn't pay my taxes, I'm going to start writing articles about him, and then he's biased because I get fines because I didn't pay my taxes. You do
Well,
like,
I think that's a really oversimplified example, because that really is, those are really paperwork crimes, right? Like, there is
come on. I'm just making I'm just doing
no,
a
no, I'm just
comparison. It has
saying,
nothing to do with whether it's criminal or a paper crime. You know what I'm
but
getting
Okay,
at? You
so
could
Jason,
criticize
what about
anybody.
what about
okay, give me 1 second, let me just finish.
Jason?
Go ahead.
Okay,
No,
let
no,
me
no,
just
no. One thing. If Earl David Warden doing his cop block videos created a conflict when they investigated him for the rape of his daughter, yeah.
I mean, I
So
think that I know more about that case than possibly anybody but his daughters. And so I will tell you that the trick with that is, if he pre-anticipated that they may investigate him someday, so that he started calling out the very specific police officers that would someday investigate him. Do you see where I'm going with this? This isn't a case of, this is him literally calling out police officers, and then after they've been called out, them initiating an investigation against him. So it creates a perverse incentive for them. I'm not even saying we're talking about the appearance of conflict, right? I'm not even talking about a conflict. This is different. This is not they started investigating him, so he started publishing their names in blogs. This would have required him to, in advance, pick the specific police officers that would end up ultimately investigating him. Like, it just doesn't. All
right. Well, I live in a pretty small town, so I think I'm going to go on my Facebook and I'm going to start calling out about, like the 50 cops in my town. And I'm just going to start telling everybody what assholes they are. So when I get pulled over for tickets, I can claim that they're biased and get out of my tickets.
I think that's quite the oversimplification, because we're talking about a murder case. We're talking about felony witness intimidation.
Yeah, and who gave him the names?
Aiden didn't murder anyone.
and
Who gave him the names of the police officers?
Yes.
I'd like to add that Aiden's extraction shows that he pre-anticipated that he was going to be charged.
Right.
But that was well after the investigation began, and well after he started publishing blogs with their names in it. So that's not. And I agree with you. It's not rocket science for him to think that I'm about to write this series of blogs, and there may be some consequences for that, or whatever else. But that's all the more reason why that simply should have been handed off to a different unit who did not have it. I agree with you. Like, you're in a small town, right, Earl? So you're in a small town, and there's no question that they really probably don't have the resources to have somebody else investigate it. But even in that case, they would set up some kind of a system, like some kind of a Chinese wall, to avoid this appearance of conflict. It's the whole reason why we do special prosecutors. It's the whole reason we do all of that. That state police unit should not have been the primary force in the investigation of the witness intimidation. They should have stuck to the murder investigation, and they should have brought in a second unit to investigate the witness intimidation. You'll never disabuse me of that thought. Sorry.
And do you
I don't really
think
think they
that
need an
he's
investigation. Just
guilty of
press
it?
play.
I'm sorry. Both of you are going at once. Oh,
Sorry.
go ahead,
I'm
Nina.
sorry. Do you think that he intimidated the witnesses or not?
I actually think that in the and I've said this definitely privately to anybody that has asked me, and I've said it publicly a few times now. I think that some of the counts are stronger than others. I think
Yes.
that if you're talking about specifically charged conduct of him, and I know I don't want to upset anybody because I'm not speaking ill of Colin Albert here in this thing, but the specifically charging him for the whole Advantage Boys thing, like that to me is too far. Like, he actually took something and he was clearly mocking it, and that's not witness intimidation. Like, that's different. It's something. There was a piece of information out there or audio of him having done
Okay,
it.
okay, Jason, but it's not journalism either.
Well, but you don't get to define that, neither do I, right? Like, so that's it's a fine
No,
line.
no, 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 no. You
That's up
can't
to the
have
jury.
Aiden saying he's a journalist and then doing stuff like that and saying all I did was ask questions.
Yeah,
No,
Well,
you
well,
don't get to do
I
that.
agree with I agree there. I mean, I
you,
think
but you can, because the law does allow him to do that. That in no way
but that's
was.
up to the jury at the end to decide.
Well, listen. The charges they still stand, right? I don't know if they filed a motion to dismiss, and these are still upcoming contested issues. I agree with you. I'm just giving you my personal opinion on
Right.
that one. On that charge conduct, I think the window charge conduct is just troublesome all around. I think that I do think that there are what witness intimidation charges. We have a very public case, right? And witness intimidation charges shouldn't be a
For that.
catch-all shield to prevent anybody from speaking about them,
Right.
or including even speaking about the witnesses. We're entitled to our opinion, but saying, maybe it'll be helpful to give an example on the other side. Saying that these people should be afraid to leave their houses, that's witness intimidation in my book. Saying
Right.
that,
But that's what
and
he did.
I agree. So I do not think, in my opinion, I think that some of
100%.
Aiden's witness intimidation charges are weaker than others, and I think some of them, I think he's likely to be convicted on. And I say this as somebody who's been witness intimidated by Aiden Carney.
Yeah. And my question is,
Interesting.
because the charges they're apparently not made for cases like that, right? Not for bloggers going after people online. And
The law really needs to catch up, and this
yeah,
is kind of a special circumstance. I don't think anybody could
right.
have predicted
Agree.
Right,
the Turtle Riders
right,
and Aiden, the
right,
combination of,
right. So the charges were made for like gang members, like someone, I think it was OP who said, who made the analogy, like gang members, and then I intimidate you that you don't blah blah blah, or the mob boss who's on trial, and then his brother intimidates the family that they don't go and say something. I think the law was made for that, like the real problems, and not like we can go after anyone and just harass anyone how we want. And I think there he really, like, he went too far with that, because it's still they're still witnesses, they're
Yep.
protected, just like judges, just like lawyers, just like
Well, so
court officers, whatever. You can't go after them. You can't.
Yep.
You just can't leave
I'm
them
glad you
alone.
said this, and frankly, like I think that some of the conduct from the other side towards some of the jurors, and I know some of you firmly believe that there was jury misconduct or whatever else, and I won't hold it against you or try to disabuse you of that. But I do think that there was some questionable conduct towards some jurors after the trial, right? And so I guess what I would say is that I don't support it on either side, right? I don't support witnesses being intimidated. I do not support, I have some serious problems with the constitutional construction of the statute in Massachusetts, because I do think that they need to take out the emotional injury part of it, for the same reason that I think Marie shouldn't be able to go get an order because people said mean things about her on the internet. I think that there should be some intent, and that there should have to be this mens rea, right? You should have to be able to prove that the conduct departed from ordinary commentary, even if it's mean, into I'm trying to affect the outcome of making this person not testify. So I have a problem with I have
Did
a problem with
you
the statute in general, not even just as applied to his case.
did you watch the Alex Jones trial?
I
Mm.
I had I have a kind of a personal connection to some of that, which I'm not going to disclose right now, but I did watch some of it, and I did get involved in a very tangential way in helping find somebody, an attorney, that was involved in some of it. Not Alex Jones, not
For Alex
anything like
Jones.
that. Not for Alex Jones. No, I do not know Alex Jones, and I didn't watch the trial. There were some.
The trial is really interesting
Hmm.
given what you're saying about emotional harm, because I had
Yeah.
never watched the trial until I heard that Maddie was going to be the attorney here. And so
Right.
I went and I watched the entire trial, and I would really, even though I would rather eat a spider than listen to Alex Jones for 5 seconds, watching the trial is extremely illuminating, especially with regard to emotional harm. And so I would just suggest that you watch the trial, because I think you might have a different
Well, so
perspective.
here's the thing. So I understand that, and I'm not foreclosing like this possibility that there is some component of this where it makes sense. I have a problem with the statutory construction itself, though, because what the witness intimidation statute should do
But you're
is,
supporting Meredith,
well,
and
hang on a minute. Hang on a
you're
minute.
saying that she has emotional harm,
Uh,
right?
well, I mean, that's been the basis of my support for Meredith as a friend. The basis of my
Sure.
Yeah,
support for
but
Meredith
but you're saying
from a
that.
legal standpoint, the basis of my support for Meredith from a legal standpoint is that Aiden Carney lied and tried to frame her for a crime that she didn't commit and tried to use me to do it. So that's a
Yeah,
different argument. That's not about emotional injury. It's about he literally tried to frame her for a crime and lied. And I'm not suggesting that
yeah,
that
that's
in
the
itself
same.
is,
It's the
I'm not
same.
suggesting that that's witness intimidation. I am suggesting that
I think
commenting
it calls
on,
for emotional harm.
It's the
he,
same.
co-
He did.
but this is the thing. The witness intimidation statute shouldn't be the catch
Yo, jerks, I'm back. I think I'm out of breath. Ooh, I had to run down 2 flights. I don't cross 3 lanes or 6 lanes. I run down 2 flights. Run down 2 flights. What am I doing now? Oh shit. Woo! Out of breath. I ran down 2 flights. That ended quickly. I don't know what was going on. We're watching for Meredith and hear what happened at this HPO hearing. That's been the theme of the last 2 days. It's just like to stop this legal warfare. Just stop. And then it turned into Jason versus the antis. People that I thought would never be on this show are on the show tonight. Wow, I'm just watching it. I can't believe Altman is getting along with Andy. That is just wow. But yeah, we're just chilling. I don't know. Maybe there's more spaces upcoming. Maybe do we want to watch more of that? Because I wanted to hear good night from Meredith. I don't know. Did she ever say good night? And I think we'll have Meredith on this week. I know she said she wants to go over some documents. Maybe when we'll have some news, or maybe the next night or two. We'll see. We'll figure that out. I'm checking all my notifications right now, actually. I got a lot of chat. Do you see that? No. You don't have it on. Good. I don't want you to see my messages. I'm just checking. That space ended. Just checking to see if they came back at all by chance. Yeah, it looks like it's over. Maybe Jen Altman got tired of listening to the discussion of Karen Reed again, the trials. I thought Jason did a good job. No, I got it. You know, when I came back, I wanted to thank Rose and the other folks earlier that also did some super chats today, and new memberships. We got a bunch of new memberships. Rose, thank you so much for the 5 Young Jerks memberships earlier today. Very much appreciated. What I did like was actually some of the discussion about Aiden. I thought Jason was very on point. And it's funny because Aiden asked for some support. It's funny that the antis and Jason kind of helped Aiden tonight, telling him, hey, Aiden, these are the ones you should probably have no problem with, dude. I think Jason was on point. It's going to be interesting. I'm going to be covering this Aiden Carney trial. I'm going to try not to have any real emotion behind it on either side because it's highly charged. And I think both sides can benefit from having someone that is not your enemy, but is also not running for you. That's kind of fair. And that's what I want to try to play on it because I get it. I get why it's charged. I mean, yeah, and I'm not like I'm changing on Aiden at all. Like I don't have love for the guy. Pretty obvious. But at the same time, I think it's an important trial for a number of reasons, and I'm highly connected to it, obviously. So we're going to cover it. And the big thing I think about this, it could go a number of ways. I think people need to be mentally prepared for it, honestly, and talk it through. And I hope kind of JFK covers it too. People kind of chased him off. Maybe he can just play the middle. That's what we need, JFK. Play the middle. Don't play either side for Aiden. Just tell it how it is without the emotion. That's where I'm trying to get to. And I think on Aiden's trial, it could go 3 different ways. If it goes to a jury. And I'm assuming they're going to go to a jury. But maybe they go bench trial. Tim Bradle seems to like bench trials. He said that before to us. And then he went bench trial with Kelsey Fitzsimmons and it worked out. Will they chance it and go to the bench trial? Because if it's a jury trial, I could see it going 3 different ways. It could be some type of crazy jury nullification. That could definitely possibly happen, especially when you throw Tully and Proctor in the mix. That is the wild card. Also the other wild card is this whole free speech thing. What is too far in this shit? Like, this is all unprecedented. YouTube and LawTube and all of it. All of it is just, we're off the charts, So it could go jury nullification. Don't doubt that. It could be not guilty on all the charges. It also could be a split verdict. I think that's a very highly likelihood where a jury actually goes through every charge and says, these are bullshit. This is actually legit. Or it could be another big possibility is a hung jury. And if it's a hung jury, the question then becomes, who's the new DA? Do they go for a retrial? So I thought that was interesting when they were talking. That was the most interesting part, I think, of the discussion when the segment turned to Jason versus the anti-Karen Reed folks. I thought that was the best part of that. When they were rehashing the fucking data, I was just like, not again. Are you going to bring up Kevin up on the show? We're going to talk about breaststrokes and shit like that. Yeah. What's this about? You got to watch from the beginning. We just watched some spaces today, and basically what happened is these women have been legal warfare on because they're critics of some YouTubers. The YouTubers can't handle it, so they try to press restraining orders against them. It's bogus because they don't like the criticism, and the criticism is because these YouTubers have been attacking people who aren't YouTubers. You know, it's just like the YouTubers are creating problems for themselves. Jess Machado and Sparkly Rabbit. And that's what happened today. Today, one of them tried to do an HPO in New Hampshire against two of them, Meredith and Altman. And it's going to get pushed over for Altman to another date now. So Altman's going to have to go up there a second time up to New Hampshire for what we all know is bogus. What even Sparkly Rabbit Marie even acknowledges is bullshit, which everybody knows. Even Turtle Boy was calling out for how bullshit it was. It's got to stop. It's just a waste of time for everybody. And that's why I did these shows, because it's got to stop. Please stop. All right. I think we're done. I think we're done for tonight. Unless something else has happened. Is anything else happening? Any more drama? I mean, I see Will is just writing screeds. The Glera going after Machado. Machado's going nuts on everyone. She was mad that we were talking about her today, apparently, and some other shows were. And I guess this other woman's going against her tonight, and Machado is feeling cornered. A few bunnies unsubscribed overnight. They didn't like yesterday's show. A few bunnies, maybe like 10 bunnies. 10 bunnies left. Um, Altman just posted. This is the funniest post. She said, "Sorry that space was suddenly ended. I dropped my phone, and when I picked it up, it was gone. Thanks for the great conversation." So she dropped her phone. That's how it ended, and I guess they're done tonight. All right. This is the thing with these spaces. I love airing them. It's kind of cool, like just to listen, get the content to it. It's like if people want it, they want it on YouTube because they're not on X, but they want to hear what's going on, especially on the ones like this where it's actually some quality content. It matters, but then it gets totally changed up and derailed to freaking Jason versus anti Karen Reed, and Jason doing a good job. I thought Jason really handled himself well. He was nice to people. He was respectful, but he stood strong and he was very fact based. And I was impressed by Jason tonight. Give it a hand to Jason. All right, I'm gonna go. Had enough. What's not true? What's not true? You got to tell me what's not true because I forget what I said 2 minutes ago, 5 minutes ago. The drama is disgusting and pathetic. Yeah, it kind of is. It's sad. I'm still not getting what you're making out accountability. Yeah, I know. I felt like I listened a little too long. But then it got to the Aiden stuff, and I actually liked to hear what Jason was saying. I thought he was very spot on, actually. He was even naming charges like the ones that he thought were weak, which I agree on. Like the window charge, that's kind of silly. But you never know with a jury. The jury might turn around and say, Mike, you're the silly one. Your opinion is silly. Right? I mean, that's the thing about a jury. It's a crapshoot. You never know what you're going to get. And that's a big part of what happens if you get a jury. It's who's on that jury and what evidence is actually presented, like what testimony is given. Like that's the wild card stuff. You don't know until it really happens. Even knowing all of who possibly is going to be testifying, you just never know how it's going to turn out. It's like a live show. You just or a space. You never know how it's going to turn out. Rose says Mike's got to get to McDonald's for the apple pies. Yeah, I do. I got Charlie over there. You think they still have them? Yeah, I'm sure they do. 812. Oh, there's only 10 bunnies left? No, she's got more subs than that. She's going to get like a month or two of views. She's going to lose some subs. And then she's going to gain her footing. That's my opinion. Because she does have some talent, even though she's a little. I wish she would work on her mission, be more positive. I don't know. I'm not going to give any advice to somebody like that. She's got a lot of issues, unfortunately. That's the thing. Everyone predicted I'd be done, and even with the few viewers I bottomed out to, it was enough. Like one of the sensible things Jess said is her costs are low compared to other people. But I don't know, Jess. Like, are you going to stay on that path? Because some of the stuff you've done, maybe your costs could go up later in the future. Like you got to be careful. Um. Yeah, yeah. No, I said 10 bunnies unsubscribed from my show. So basically, what I'm saying is I got 10 people who unsubbed overnight because of their bunnies. That's basically what happened. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Exactly. Thank you, DB, for correcting. That's exactly what DB said is what I was saying for people that didn't get it. Well, you know what? The numbers went up. She has a point about that too, doesn't she? And if I wanted money and drama, I'd just go on and Jess every night. That's what everyone would love. I'd get all the Turtle Boy people here, all the anti, but that's not what I'm doing. The only reason I even brought her up in the last show, the last two shows really, is because of what she did to Altman. It's like, cut the shit. Stop doing that shit. You're a fucking YouTuber and you're fucking doing harassment prevention orders against Altman of all people. Are you serious? Like you really think she's gonna? Come on, come on, bro. Altman, like, what are we doing here? That's why I did that. So hopefully the rest of the week we'll be back to regular program. Hopefully we're not covering any more harassment prevention orders. Hopefully Marie just drops it against Altman. Especially if Meredith it comes back tomorrow or the next day. In Meredith's favor. Maybe Marie just drops it. We don't have to do any more HPO hearings. But if there is another hearing, Altman, hey, I might even drive up to New Hampshire. I wouldn't mind going to see Nashua. Nashua during the summer sounds pretty good, actually. They get a margarita up there for lunch. I know a place. I used to live in Nashua for a short time when I first started working at Fidelity up in Merrimack, New Hampshire, actually. So maybe I might have to head up there. Riveting coverage here at the Young Jerks. Oh, I think I gotta go. I think it's time to go. Nashua is gross. It's not, well, I mean, there are some, the downtown area is kind of nice. I mean, I don't know what it's like now. I haven't been up there in a long time. But when I was up there back then, I would just say it was kind of boring. I mean, I was a guy who wanted to live in Boston, you know what I mean? And that's what I did. I moved to Boston, basically, that area. You know, when you're young, Nashua is kind of boring. Let's just be clear. It's like I moved from one boring town which I grew up into to another one. It's like, no, I want to be where the music is at and the art and culture and young people. You know it's awful. I'll take your word for it. I remember some nice places up there too, though. I mean, yeah, exactly. Some parts are nice, and the inner city part is it's funny. I know what you mean, though. It's like this rural inner city almost, but it's urban, but it's not like super urban. It's funny. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I've been in that area too. Yeah, like downtown area is mostly where I was hanging out, anyways. I was living in Merrimack. You remember that? Merrimack, New Hampshire. Where the Fidelity campus was. One of them, anyways. Yeah, Manchester. One of my best friends. That's a guy I met at Fidelity. Actually, he's living in Florida now. He's from Manchester. I used to book shows and go see shows up there too. Funny. Yeah, Manchester's funny. It's a dicey area up there. Surprisingly, you gotta be careful in Manchester. You'd think it'd be nice because I think Manchester by the sea, Mass. It's like wicked nice. Manchester, New Hampshire, kind of. You gotta be careful. You gotta be careful. All right, I'm gonna go. Peace out, jerks. I'll see you when I see you. I don't even know. We're gonna be booking a bunch of shows upcoming though. Trust me on that. I'm just holding off because I'm trying to book a couple big guests. And these things take time, but I'm just like holding off the whole schedule just in case they say yes, like today or tomorrow. You know what I mean? It's just like you don't want to have like all these other guests booked if you're trying to book something big. And it might not happen. We'll see what happens. There's a lot in play all the time, but keep your fingers crossed. We're always working for you to bring the best guest on this show. And there'll be more. There's going to be a lot of guests upcoming too. And even going back into my past history, we are going to have some good shows. I'm looking forward to it. So I'll see you soon, jerks. Is my hair that bad today? No, it's just that I don't even have my lights on. It's like it's all fucked up in here. Like I haven't even. I don't know. Yeah, I turned them off and then I turned them back on. I have to set them up again. And it's just yeah. It's not even about my hair. It's about the lighting. I gotta go. I'll talk to you later, jerks. Have a good night. Thank you so much. Peace out. You want me to have Andy on? Oh my God. Can you handle? Were you serious? I'm afraid. Yeah, I just got a message back from Meredith too. We're gonna do something later on this week, maybe even possibly tomorrow. But we're gonna do a show with Meredith too. So yeah, good night, everyone. And again, I just want to check my Venmos and my Cash Apps. I know a couple Venmos or Cash Apps came in over the last couple days, and I just want to thank them again. Tammy V sent $10 recently on Venmo. I want to thank her so much. And on the Cash App, Bernice L, who I missed the other night. So I'm thanking her twice now on 2 different episodes just to make sure she hears it. Bernice L, thank you for the $10 on the Cash App. You said you're the man, Mike. Thank you so much, Bernice. Love you. Maybe I'll get some pizza tonight. No, you know what? Apple pies. Like I said, that fried apple pies. I got to hit McDonald's now with Charlie. Peace out, jerks. Have a good night.